Hello everyone. Today I, Spotted Leopard, have compiled a long episode of the My Disciple series Our House is Rocking Again. This is for those who like to watch longer episodes. If you enjoy it, remember to give me a like and subscribe to the channel. Love you all forever. In a small thatched house, my name is Truck Ryu, an ordinary game master. On one late afternoon, suddenly transported to another world. Truck Ryu placed her hand on the table. Under her palm was a computer mouse, becoming the first person in the world to transmigrate while holding a mouse. Unexpectedly, my identity in this world is that of a village girl. Thinking this, she sat hugging her knees dejectedly in a corner. No, actually my true identity is the disciple of the supreme Jade Speech, the most powerful person in the fairy realm, the most handsome in the fairy realm. Jade Speech grabbed her wrist. Looking straight into her eyes, he said, "Kneel down and accept me as your master." Thinking of the word disciple made her heart heavy. It's okay. The master-disciple relationship can also develop. As long as you persevere, sooner or later it will. Haha, Supreme Jade Speech patted her head. She blushed shyly, Master. It's true that this master is handsome. Very handsome indeed, but he seems a bit stupid. He handed her a long piece of cloth. With a straight face, he said, "For this person." Not understanding, Truck Ryu stood up and asked, "What is that?" He replied, "Wear it when you have your period." Surprised by his shocking statement, she stared at him with her mouth agape, her face turning red like a ripe tomato. She thought to herself, period. She held back. Wait a minute. The system asked, "You have died. Do you choose to return to the checkpoint and revive?" However, both choices were yes. Truck Ryu lamented in despair. Isn't this supposed to be a romantic cultivation comic? Why did I die in a thatched house? My name is Truck Ryu, 28 years old. I'm a gamer who knows nothing else except for things related to games. But unexpectedly, I've been transported to another world. She held herself, suddenly frozen in place, unaware that there was a figure standing behind her. An angry woman shouted, "You rotten girl, what are you standing there for? Hurry up and get to work." After yelling, she smacked Truck Ryu on the head. Feeling the pain, she cried out involuntarily. She raised her hands to protect herself and asked, "Who are you?" The woman became furious upon hearing this. "What? Who am I? Are you dreaming, girl? I'm your mother." She then angrily grabbed Truck Ryu's collar and dragged her outside. "Hurry up and boil some water. The sun is burning my butt." But Truck Ryu still couldn't understand. She was still in a daze, thinking. A moment later, she heard her mother's voice again. "Still hiding in the room? Do you want a beating?" Only then did she snap out of it. She sat next to the stove, dejected, hugging her knees. "I was at home discussing the game's PUB. Why did I suddenly transmigrate? Moreover, I'm still wearing my pajamas. And what's with that mother just now?" She thought back to the angry face of the woman earlier. Could this be the typical transmigration scenario? Most importantly, I don't even know how to start a fire, so how am I supposed to boil water? Thinking about this made her break out in a cold sweat. Then, resting her chin on her hand, she said dejectedly, "I only know a little bit of technology. Why did I have to transmigrate?" Zhu Ro recalled her past. Because she had been interested in computers since childhood. After graduating, she continued to work in game design. She designed the country's most famous game, CNU. Her main job was maintaining and searching for bugs in the game. But now, sitting between a stove and firewood, she felt completely lost. She scratched her head frantically. "I transmigrated here, but I don't have any advantages at all. Clearly, I won't last 3 days before I'm done for." Zhu Ro tidied her hair and held a basin of clothes. She sighed, "I need to wash these clothes quickly. There's still a pile of wood to chop too." This place is Zhu Family Village. My name is Zhu Yao, and my mother is a widow. I heard that we've been living together for over 15 years. But before that, she recalled the embarrassing scene of trying to explain to the old woman, "Mother, I'm really not your daughter." Of course, the response was a powerful knock on her head from the old lady, saying, "What nonsense is this? Dr. Wong, please check what's wrong with this girl." Dr. Wong stroked his beard and smiled. "Leave it to me." Then he pulled out a bunch of sharp needles from his hand. Seeing this, she was too scared to speak. Then she quickly hugged her mother and said, "You are indeed my birth mother." Hearing this, the old lady seemed relieved. "Finally, you've come to your senses. You're not confused anymore. Dr. Wong is truly a miracle worker. As soon as he took out his needles, my daughter was cured." As she spoke, she showed a joyful expression, clearly hugging the crying girl. On the other side, Dr. Wong also laughed and praised excessively. Then he said, "Madam Zhu, You're too kind. To be on the safe side, let me give Yao a few acupuncture treatments to prevent a relapse. Hearing this, Zhu Rou trembled and cried even more intensely. Back to the present, she held the basin of clothes and thought, anyway, I don't dare mention that I've transmigrated. It's best to stay content in Zhu family village and BA. As she was thinking this, another thought flashed through her mind. 28 years old and still unmarried, a spinster in ancient times. It felt like a heavy stone had dropped on her head. Suddenly, a voice brought her back to reality. Yao, are you going to wash clothes? She was startled. It turned out to be Dr. Wang, smiling at her cheerfully. Seeing him, she suddenly felt afraid. Uncle Wang, Uncle Wang. Dr. Wang had also brought Wang Ziji along. Zhu Yao looked at him with a forced smile. Uncle Wang, did you need something from me? He maintained his affectionate smile and said, it's like this. I heard that there are immortals in town today, selecting disciples. These immortals only come once every 15 years. If chosen, one can become an immortal. I want my boy to go and try his luck. But your aunt happens to be sick right now, so I have to trouble you to take him there. After saying that, he pushed the little boy up. The boy Tu Chi pouted and looked at her, panting. She heard it and was skeptical about becoming an immortal. It sounded too superstitious. But anyway, they're from the same village. Helping a bit wouldn't hurt. Looking at Dr. Wang and the sulking boy Tu Chi, she accepted with a smile and said, all right, I'll take this kid along. Hearing that, the old man was relieved and happily waved goodbye to her. Go ahead, I'll bring your laundry basket back for you. She waved back, her other hand holding the boy's hand. Right after Dr. Wang turned away, Tu Chi quickly pulled his hand away. Then the boy crossed his arms and said seriously, let me tell you something. Even if you help me, I won't marry you. Hearing that, she didn't scold him, but just laughed. Then she bent down and pinched his cheek. You're just a little kid who still smells of milk. What nonsense are you talking about? Tu Chi, unwilling to accept, covered his face angrily, almost crying, I'm not talking nonsense. I've heard about it. You can't have children. You're 28 years old and still single. Men should stay away from you. If they don't avoid you clinging to them, they'll end up without descendants. Indeed, human endurance has its limits. Truck Ju's face started to darken. She thought, can't have children. Why don't I know about this? Even though I stay in my room all day, I at least go for annual health checkups. There's no problem at all. Tu Chi turned away abruptly and said pretentiously, my family only has me as the son. You should give up. As soon as he finished speaking, she grabbed him. Truck Ju, annoyed, pulled down the boy's pants and spanked him. Disrespectful brat, talking nonsense. How dare you say, I can't have children. You're the one who can't have children. Your whole family can't have children. Being spanked and scolded, Tu Chi immediately burst into tears. Half an hour later, the boy's bottom was red and swollen, and he turned away crying angrily. Seeing this scene, Truck Ju suddenly found it amusing and smiled. The feeling of disciplining naughty kids like this was quite enjoyable. Then she approached the boy and said, this time, I'll let you off. But if you're disrespectful like that again. Hearing her say that, Tu Chi suddenly trembled. She continued, I'll make sure you can't leave your bed, understand? Outwardly, she smiled threateningly at the boy, but inwardly, she reflected, oh, that sounded wrong. After that, she felt her mood greatly improved. She then said to Tu Chi, let's go, we're heading to town. The boy indeed didn't dare say anything more, but his face was full of anger. In town, the streets were bustling with activity. Everywhere was lively and noisy. Truck Ju stopped to think, these scoundrels are quite something, fooling so many people. Tu Chi, on the other hand, looked around in amazement. Then she held the boy's hand and instructed, hold tight, don't get lost. Of course, the boy was still feeling hurt, so he immediately turned away with a humph. Standing among hundreds of people jostling each other. Look up on the high platform. There were 4 immortals in pure white robes. Wow, that's quite professional. Truck Ju looked around curiously. She silently assessed that they had proper uniforms. Must be a disciplined organization. No wonder they could deceive so many people. Next, one immortal stepped forward. He announced to everyone, ladies and gentlemen, today is the 15th disciple recruitment day of our Cao Ko sect. We have no restrictions on gender or background. Please come forward in order for the examination. The administrator explained the procedure. No gender restrictions. No background restrictions. Please come forward in order for the examination. He called out loudly first person. Hearing this, a farmer leading a child stepped forward. Seeing the spirit orb for testing, the child was very frightened. The administrator reminded, "Gently place your hand on top." The farmer patted the child's back and pushed him forward. "What are you afraid of? Just being chosen means you'll rise to the heavens in one step." The child timidly stepped forward and placed his hand on the spirit orb. However, the spirit orb showed no change. The administrator shook his head with regret. No spirit root. Next person. Truck Jew thought to herself that this scene looked familiar. All those cultivation novels had spirit root testing scenes like this, but she thought she had transmigrated to a farming genre. Turns out it's a cultivation story after all. She looked at the kids lining up before and after her and questioned her life. Who am I? Where am I? Seems like I transmigrated at the wrong time. Starting cultivation at 28 years old. Even if I crawl, I can't beat these kids. The next child touched the spirit orb. This time there was a slight change. The administrator nodded with spirit root. "You can stay." The sect disciples standing to the side observed and whispered, "Why are the talents so ordinary this year?" Another replied, "Wood spirit root is only slightly better than earth spirit root. Wait a bit longer." After a few more tests, then a boy in ragged clothes slowly stepped forward. The administrator had already made it clear. No discrimination based on background or gender. He still said kindly, "Place your hand on it." The boy's eyes shone brightly as he touched the spirit orb. The spirit orb also lit up in response. Inside the orb appeared images of green bamboo branches, surrounded by a special golden light. Someone exclaimed in surprise, "Metalwood dual spirit roots." The disciples marveled. Finally, there was a surprise. A disciple with an extraordinary aura approached the boy and said gently, "Unexpected to have a dual spirit root disciple this year." The boy heard but didn't react. He remained silent like a log. The other person smiled and continued, "Little junior brother, please go over there to rest for the rest of the day. You'll return to the sect with us today." The boy obediently nodded in response. Tucci also exclaimed, "So impressive." But Truck Jew was lost in thought, feeling strange. Why did she feel that this beggar boy had something odd about him? The administrator continued the program. Next person. Tucci cheerfully arrived here. Indeed, this spirit orb is floating in the air. She crossed her arms and observed. It seems the fewer spirit roots, the better. But spirit roots are already like this. Wonder what a single spirit root would be like. As soon as Tucci placed her hand on it, the spirit orb immediately shone intensely. She was also startled and looked closely. The disciples exclaimed in amazement, "This is a heavenly spirit root." The person joyfully picked up the boy. Unexpectedly, it's a fire attribute heavenly spirit root. The crowd cheered and applauded. Zhu Yao gaped. This child is too impressive. She quickly snatched it from the hands of the supervisor. "Hey, what are you doing?" He coughed a few times and replied, "Miss, you misunderstand. We've encountered a once-in-a-millennium genius. That's why we're so excited." The disciples also chimed in. "We are all genuine cultivators, honest with all customers." That's right, the supervisor explained. Spirit roots are basically divided into metal, wood, water, fire, and earth. The more attributes a spirit root has, the more mixed it is, and the harder it is to cultivate. A heavenly spirit root is a single attribute spirit root with extremely fast cultivation speed. Not even 1 in 10,000 people has a heavenly spirit root. This boy's spirit root is exceptionally superior. He's sure to succeed in cultivation. Tucci happily asked, "You mean I've been chosen?" The disciples laughed and nodded. "That's right. You found a treasure." "Ah." Zhu Yao gave up, thinking, "If you get scammed, don't blame me." She glanced at the orb. "This ball seems too magical. Maybe I should try it too." She lightly touched the spirit orb with one finger. The spirit orb, receiving the spirit root, reacted strongly. It emitted countless intertwining 7-colored lights. The supervisor saw this. He calmly judged, 5 spirit roots, yet immortal. Curious, she disappointedly withdrew her hand. After all, I'm a transmigrator. How can I not have a cheat code? But at this moment, the spirit orb, suppressed by too strong an aura, began to crack. A cracking sound was heard. Everyone was shocked. The spirit orb has broken. The atmosphere became terrifyingly quiet, everyone tense. Zhu Yao held her head. "Don't tell me. Did I break it? Those kids just now were fine, but it broke as soon as I touched it." She laughed nervously. Raising her damned finger, she timidly asked, "Can I apologize now?" The supervisor pointed at her, stammering, You are? Could it be your?" The 2 people beside him also chimed in. "It can't be wrong. This matter must be reported to the sect leader immediately. One person who seemed calmer said, "This is a major event. We must return to the sect immediately." They began to manipulate spirit energy, creating a wind that swept green leaves down from the trees. With a swoosh, both Zhu Yao and Tu Chi were lifted by some force. The leaves suddenly grew larger, like boats in midair. Both were drawn towards them. She exclaimed in surprise, "So there really are immortals." The leaf was like a large boat carrying the group of disciples and chosen children, sailing through the wind. She shouted, "Hey, even immortals can't kidnap people like this. I demand an explanation." Suddenly, a small hand grasped hers. She looked down and saw Tu Chi, the little boy, put on a brave face and said, "Don't worry. We're in this together." He continued, his cheeks flushing red. "Anyway, you've already touched me. My father says a real man stands tall under the sky and firm on the earth. I'll take responsibility." She squinted. What is this kid talking about? Could it be about me spanking him? He wants to take responsibility for that. What a vivid imagination. Truckyu pinched Tu Chi's chubby cheeks, smiling and said teasingly, enunciating each word, "Well then, thank you very much, little Prince Charming." The boy, his cheeks hurting from the pinching, complained, "I have a proper name. My name is Wang Tu Chi. We're not married yet. You can't call me that." Seeing how adorable the boy was, Truckyu pinched his cheeks even harder, laughing, "Ha." In the blink of an eye, they arrived at a towering mountain peak. White clouds surrounded them. Mountains stretched as far as the eye could see, hidden by bamboo and pine. She marveled. I never imagined such scenery existed. Suddenly, the leaf plummeted towards a mountain ravine. The children panicked and screamed. The leaf boat fell to the middle of the cliff face and stopped. At that moment, a strange gate appeared. Perhaps this was the mountain protecting formation that everyone often talked about. By the time they regained their composure, they had arrived at a different place. This place was majestic yet elegant. Mist and smoke enveloped everything. Truckyu was stunned. So many people. At that moment, the disciples from earlier turned to stare at her. She was frightened by their behavior. Her little husband Tu Chi decided to give up and run away. In the blink of an eye, he was nowhere to be seen. She angrily shouted, "You ungrateful brat." The disciples slowly approached, surrounding her. As she was about to panic, a calm disciple stepped forward. He said, "The sect leader has ordered to let her in." Hearing this, she closed her eyes and sighed. "Sooner or later, I'll have to face them anyway. Might as well go now. What's there to fear?" Truckyu followed him into the inner hall. The elders were already seated in their positions. It seemed like everyone had been waiting there for her. The calm disciple bowed to greet the sect leader. This sect leader wasn't very old. His expression was pensive and hard to read. He continued, "Is this the girl who broke the crystal ball?" Reporting to the sect leader, "Yes, it's her." The sect leader looked Truckyu up and down, puzzled. Why is she so old? Hearing this, she felt like an arrow had pierced her heart. Clutching her aching, bleeding heart, she replied, "Uncle, I'm only 28. The sect leader coughed a few times. "That's not young at all." He waved his hand, and another crystal ball appeared. He said, "Young lady, place your hand on it." Truckyu calculated in her mind. They kidnapped me from thousands of miles away, didn't make me pay compensation, and even let me try again. What exactly do they want to do? Could it be they want to trick me into paying more compensation? Thinking this, she quickly backed away from it. She put on an innocent face and said, "This thing, last time I just accidentally broke it. I'm afraid I'll break it again, so it's best not to try." Seeing this, the sect leader laughed heartily. "It's all right, just give it a try. The one that broke earlier has nothing to do with you." Hearing this, she sighed in relief. "Why didn't you say so earlier?" This time she placed her whole hand on the crystal ball. It was no different from before. This time the crystal ball also reacted strongly, emitting 7-colored light, even more brilliant than before. In just a moment, the crystal ball couldn't withstand the spiritual energy and began to crack, finally shattering completely and falling to the ground. The sect leader witnessed it firsthand and nodded. "Indeed, it is so. Quickly go to Jade Forest Peak and report this to the Grand Elder." That disciple quickly replied, "Yes," and left immediately. The sect leader approached Zhu Yao and asked kindly, "What is your name?" She flattered, asked back in a friendly manner, "What's your name, uncle?" The female cultivator in red, seeing her ask like this, angrily stood up. "How dare you? Do you know who is sitting in front of you?" Zhu Yao naively replied, "I don't know." The other person, burning with anger, "You. How can you succeed being so ignorant? You're still just a mortal and already like this. When you cultivate successfully, won't you just disrespect your masters and ancestors?" Seeing the tense situation, the sect leader intervened. "Junior sister, calm down. You also know how rare this person's aptitude is. Only 1 in 10,000 years. If there's anything, wait until the ancestor arrives to discuss. The junior sister was unwilling, but she was already old. Even with supreme aptitude, it would be very difficult to form a core before her lifespan ends. By then, it would just be a waste of effort. Hey, Zhu Yao, dissatisfied, pointed at herself. You can say whatever you want, but you should consider the person involved, right? That junior sister slammed her hand on the chair arm. How audacious. Making mistakes and still not knowing to repent. And now repeatedly interrupting others. Didn't your mother teach you what manners are? She was offended. You think I'm that nice. Anyone can argue. Zhu Yao replied, friendly, miss, if interrupting others is impolite, then when you interrupted me earlier to ask the sect leader, was that polite? The junior sister couldn't believe someone dared to speak to her like this. As a disciple not yet admitted, you dare to directly ask the sect leader's name. How is that not audacious? She loudly retorted, isn't it polite to give your own name first before asking someone else's name? Moreover, I haven't joined the sect yet. Whether he's the sect leader or not has nothing to do with me. The junior sister was completely overwhelmed by her momentum. Stuttered you. You're also forcibly taking advantage. Seeing the opponent's weakness, she continued to attack. If you can't speak, it's forced sexual assault. If you can speak, then it's someone else being bold. May I ask this young lady, is this how your mother taught you? These words were like a fatal blow, striking directly at the junior sister. A complete victory. The junior sister was so angry her head was smoking. You're outrageous. After saying that, she immediately launched a fireball towards her. Zhu Rou panicked for a moment. Oh no, I forgot this is a Xinxiao world. These people can kill me in an instant. This time I'm surely dead. Just as the fireball was about to reach Zhu Rou, the sect leader managed to intervene in time. He gently said, junior sister, don't be agitated. The junior sister couldn't vent her anger. She could only glare at her resentfully. The sect leader looked at Zhu Rou calmly and said, young lady, please calm down as well. Perhaps you've already guessed that your aptitude is extraordinary. If you join our sect, we will certainly nurture you wholeheartedly. Are you willing? She bluntly refused, not interested. The sect leader was taken aback by this strong reaction. He had to cough a few times. Ahem. What did you say? Do you know that the place you'll be going to is Jade Forest Peak, a place the entire cultivation world wants to join? She looked at him skeptically. Jade Forest Peak. What's Jade Forest Peak? The sect leader sighed and slowly explained. Jade Forest Peak has a 1,000-year heritage. It only accepts disciples with Thunder Spirit Root. Disciples are very few. More than half of the successors have already ascended to the immortal realm, because Thunder Spirit Root is the rarest spirit root in the world. Thunder Spirit Root is extremely rare. The most recent person with Thunder Spirit Root was Great Grandmaster Yu Yin. Great Grandmaster Yu Yin became a disciple at the age of 3. At 100 years old, he reached Yuaning's stage. At 1,000 years, he achieved nascent soul great perfection. He became the #1 cultivator in the world. Although Great Grandmaster has long been in the immortal body state, he still remains in the mortal realm. It's precisely to wait for a successor with Thunder Spirit Root. Zhu Rou listened and understood everything. Then I'm even less willing to go. The sect leader was furious upon hearing this, but still maintaining his dignified appearance, he asked why. She replied frankly, do you think I'm stupid? Today I offended your junior sister. If I join your sect, won't she torment me to death? The sect leader was speechless. This young lady is too straightforward, and his junior sister was indeed about to explode with anger. Not waiting for their reaction, Zhu Rou decided to flee. I have to go now. Bye-bye. The sect leader stammered, chasing after her. Wait. Suddenly, a strong gust of wind blew. As Zhu Rou was running away, she bumped face first into someone's chest. She rubbed her poor forehead. Ouch. Are you blind? Get out of the way. Everyone witnessing this scene was dumbfounded. After hearing her scolding, that person actually moved aside. She glanced at him a few times. Think you're great just because you're handsome. The sect leader could no longer contain himself. He hurriedly shouted, Great Grandmaster, that young lady has Thunder Spirit Root. Nakon immediately reacted upon hearing this. He grabbed her wrist. Truck Ryu, who was about to leave, was pulled back. And due to inertia, Her face crashed into his chest again. She angrily gritted her teeth. Listen to me, you big brother. Not gone. Towards her, displayed an extremely calm attitude. He listened as she continued. Do we have any grudges against each other? He replied in a deep voice, no. Hearing his response, she became even more angry. If not, why are you pulling me? Are you trying to make a scene? Not gone, still holding her wrist tightly, replied, I'm not making a scene, I'm just holding your hand. She tried to calm herself. Don't get angry, don't get angry. Today's weather is so beautiful. Getting angry isn't good at all. She smiled and asked, what exactly do you want to do? He took a step forward and slowly said, kneel down. Accept me as your master. The interview program began. Truck Ryu spoke first. Master. Some readers said if you didn't appear, your disciple would have been stolen away. Not Gone glanced at her from head to toe. He replied indifferently, seems like that person is worrying too much. She was so angry her eyes saw stars. What's with that contemptuous look? Do you think no one would want me? Little did she know, he had been secretly planning for a long time, preparing small bags and big bags, waiting for 16,000 years to finally get a disciple. He absolutely couldn't let others steal her away. In another interview, Truck Ryu asked, Master, what do you think about the title of Cultivation World's #1 handsome man? He still appeared indifferent and replied, it's just a trivial matter. Not worth mentioning. She continued her attack. People say you're the male lead who appeared the latest in history. Do you have anything to say about this? Not Gone calmly replied, this master has never cared about fame and fortune. She struck a cute pose, placing a finger on her cheek, and asked, then does master care about me? He glanced at her. What do you think? Truck Ryu was so angry she could explode. Not this again. But much later, while reading a book, Not Gone slowly nodded. Back to reality, Truck Ryu asked in a daze what? Accept you as my master. The sect leader and her 2 junior sisters also respectfully came forward to greet the Great Grandmaster. He asked for confirmation, Great Grandmaster, you want to accept this girl as your disciple, is that right? Not Gone replied solemnly, personal disciple. Everyone present there was shocked. Their mouths agape. What did he just say? She raised her hand. Hey, big brother, we need to clarify something. Why must I absolutely accept you as my master? He answered matter-of-factly, because you have the Thunder Spirit root. Her face darkened. Is there any law stating that those with Thunder Spirit root must absolutely accept you as their master? He replied, only my Jade Forest Peak has cultivation methods for Thunder Spirit root, so you must absolutely accept me as your master. He pulled her closer and continued, if you want to become immortal, you must practice this cultivation method. Truck Ryu, dissatisfied, shook off his hand. Sorry, I don't want to become immortal. Goodbye. After saying that, she turned around to leave. She hadn't gone far when he pulled her back again. But to prevent her from running away again, he directly picked her up by the waist with one hand, like a child being carried home by parents for punishment. She was dumbfounded. Before she could understand the situation, Not Gone had already performed his spirit technique. They flew straight up into the sky. She felt like she was riding a roller coaster. She kept screaming loudly. It wasn't until she was about to faint that he finally let her down. She staggered to a corner and vomited several times, feeling too dizzy. He didn't care about her condition. He just introduced himself. I am Not Gone. If you become my disciple, you will naturally take my surname, and I will give you a name. He paused for a moment before saying the last word, Vong. Truck Dew felt like she was struck by lightning. Nak Fuang, please, I really don't want to cultivate immortality. Can you please let me go? Not Gone squinted his eyes, a bit speechless, looking down at Truck Dew, whose inner world seemed to collapse. She was too scared to raise her head. At this moment, she could hear her heart pounding loudly. Next, Truck Dew kowtowed to the ground at his feet. However, she found it puzzling why this was happening. She couldn't control her own body. After kowtowing 3 times, with a red mark clearly visible on her forehead, she finally raised her head and asked loudly, "What do you want to do?" In response, he touched her forehead with a finger. Truck Dew was bewildered, not understanding what was happening. Where he had just touched, a small spot of light appeared. Then Not Gone looked at her seriously and said, "From today onwards, you are my personal disciple. This mark is proof that I have accepted you as my disciple. Early tomorrow morning, come to the peak of Nak Lam Fong. I will teach you immortal techniques." Truck Dew was still in shock. She sat motionless, staring at him, until he disappeared. With a whoosh of wind, she finally snapped out of it. Then she lamented in despair, just disappeared like that. How irresponsible. I've heard of forced buying and selling, but forced discipleship like this is unheard of. She grumbled to herself angrily. Then she sat on the grass, silently evaluating him. But it seemed this person was very powerful. Moreover, she had already offended that lady in red, so now having a backer wasn't so bad. She suddenly remembered something. He had just told her to go to NAMA-MANGAI. As she spoke, Truck Ju looked up towards the distant horizon. Layers upon layers of mountains. She looked at it and almost fainted. This was no different from climbing Mount Everest. The next day, Truck Ju was struggling to drag herself up the mountain. Her clothes were covered in dust, and her knees were scraped. She looked extremely miserable and dirty. She used a tree branch as a walking stick, panting heavily and forcing out each word, finally here. She thought back to the arduous journey she had been through. No wonder he told her to come find him early the next morning. She had to spend the whole night traveling. She was exhausted and worn out, trying to drag each step towards that house. But right after that, she couldn't bear it and collapsed to the ground. The next moment, the creaking sound of a door opening rang out. Nakon Tan Thuong stepped outside. His eyes fell on Truck Ryu lying in a heap on the ground. He extended 2 fingers. Then a stream of smoke appeared, wrapping around her body. Immediately, Truck Ryu slowly opened her eyes and regained consciousness. She was surprised, trying to move her limbs, and exclaimed in astonishment, "Is that magic? It's truly miraculous." He looked at her and then asked, "Did you walk up the mountain? Why didn't you use the teleportation formation at the foot of the mountain?" Hearing this question, Truck Ryu repeated to herself, "Teleportation formation." Right after that, her face turned black with anger. She cursed inwardly, "Damn it. Why didn't you tell me earlier that there was a teleportation formation?" But she managed to suppress her anger and calm herself down. When under someone's roof, one can't lower their head. Calm down now. At this moment, the person facing her had a very innocent look. Then, Truck Ryu clasped her hands at chest level, slightly bowed her head, and said, "Disciple pays respects to master." Hearing this, the corner of his mouth turned up slightly. A gust of wind swept by, and the dirt on her body from climbing the mountain earlier suddenly became clean and tidy. Seeing this, she exclaimed in admiration, "Wow, that's impressive." In her heart, she thought to herself, "If I learn this trick, I won't need to do laundry anymore." Notgon Tun Thuong spoke to her, "You've just joined, so take some time to familiarize yourself with the surroundings. Tomorrow morning, I'll teach you how to guide Qi into your body." Truck Ryu was extremely excited. She looked at him with adoring eyes. Next, he turned around, not forgetting to call her, "Follow me." She happily obeyed and followed behind him. As they walked, she excitedly observed her surroundings. That was in the early morning. She still had to walk behind him until the afternoon, and it continued until nightfall. By this time, Truck Ryu had forgotten what energy felt like. She trudged along wearily behind him. She thought irritably to herself, "Where are we going after all?" At that moment, his voice rang out, "We've arrived." That's the teleportation formation. Inside Nok Lam Peak. You can't fly on swords, but you can use this to teleport to the top of the mountain. Truck Ryu was so angry she could spit blood. "This is the path I took up the mountain yesterday." She looked at the symbol on that rock and suddenly understood. So behind that ugly rock was the teleportation formation. Thinking of the effort spent climbing the mountain, it was like she had wasted a whole night crawling. While she was feeling dejected, suddenly a blue light circle appeared, spinning around. She uncomfortably closed one eye. When she opened it, they had arrived. She marveled, "How miraculous." "We're back at the mountaintop." Notgon Tun Thuong, behind her, explained, "This formation is bidirectional. You can also use it to go down the mountain." Hearing this, she turned her head and asked, "If the formation can teleport in both directions, then why did Master leave me to walk down a mountain?" He didn't answer. Then, pretending to cough, he said, "Go to bed early. Tomorrow, I'll teach you how to guide Qi into your body." As soon as he finished speaking, he slammed the door shut without letting her say another word. Truck Ryu was left speechless. All masters seem to have a skill specifically for playing tricks on their disciples. Then she suddenly remembered something important. Where would she sleep tonight? Notgon Tun Thuong appeared like a Buddha, holding 2 houses made of gold and silver in his hands. He asked the brave girl, "Is this golden room yours, or is this silver room yours?" Truck Ryu, happily eating a lollipop, pointed elsewhere and said, "I dropped my grass house over there." Then Buddha Nok No smiled affectionately, feeling touched. Indeed, an honest girl. I shall reward you. Then he pointed to a house far away, that grass house. At this point, Truck Ryu suddenly woke up. She shivered, thinking to herself, ouch, this bed is too hard. He's supposed to be a high-ranking master, yet he lives in a grass house. Then she stood up, walking with one hand against the wall and the other rubbing her waist. Oh, my waist. After a few steps, she suddenly came face to face with Nakan. He was sitting in meditation, looking extremely peaceful without the slightest movement. Perhaps hearing her sound, he opened his eyes and then waved his hand, signaling her to sit down. She was a bit surprised, but then sat down. Her first question was, are we starting to cultivate immortality now? He brought 2 fingers to the center of her forehead and said, today, I will teach you how to guide chi into your body. The spot on her forehead suddenly lit up. He said, close your eyes, and she obediently followed. After he lowered his hand, she sat in a posture identical to his earlier. Nakno said, that is the method for circulating spiritual energy. Remember this method well. When you can sense spiritual energy, you can use this method to guide it into your body. Truck Ryu then asked, so how do I sense spiritual energy? He replied, that depends on each person's aptitude. Close your eyes and relax your body. Use your mind to perceive, and you'll be able to sense it. Half an hour later, Truck Ryu began to lose patience. She stretched a few times, then dejectedly lowered her head. I can't feel anything at all. Nakan, who had been sitting by, now said, trying not to be impatient, cultivation is not a matter of haste. After that, she regained her spirit and focused on sitting and sensing again. But it was the same as before. She lost patience again, hung her head and said, it's still not working. Truck Ryu stood up, tired, rubbing her lower back and saying, I'm so tired. Let's take a short break and then continue. She walked around aimlessly. Then she stopped at a magic formation and happily exclaimed, wow, this magic formation is so strange. Suddenly, she came face to face with a young man. Then she remembered Lisher shook. Hearing this, he quickly waved his hands. This disciple wouldn't dare. Please, Grand Shook, don't address this disciple like that. Just call this disciple by his Taoist name, Tu Lam. Truck Ryu squinted her eyes, confused, not knowing what to say. The young man hastily explained, Nakman Tun Thuong is the highest ranking person in our sect. Even the sect leader has to address Tun Thuong as Tai Su Tuk. He is a disciple of Nakman Tun Thuong. According to seniority, disciples must call him Tai Su Tuk. Hearing him speak, she smiled, realizing what it meant. She felt secretly pleased. She didn't expect her status to be so impressive. Tu Lam honestly told her. This time, the disciple came up the mountain to complete the admission procedure for Tai Su Tuk. Chuck Ryu cheerfully replied, let's go then. The two of them walked together to a room. Tu Lam pointed and said, Tai Su Tuk, please come this way. She entered silently, observing her surroundings. Tu Lam on the other side began whispering to the person next to him. This is the disciple of Nakgon Tun Thuong. As soon as he finished speaking, that person was startled. Right after that, a group of people suddenly clasped their hands respectfully and greeted, greetings, Truck Du Tai Su Tuk Tu. Upon hearing this, she felt as if a beard and wrinkles had appeared on her body. Surprised, she exclaimed, huh? She sat down on the chair. Tu Lam approached, bowed respectfully, and said, in a moment, the identity jade tablet of Nak Lam Fong will be ready. Please wait a bit while I go check if it's finished. Chuck Ryu smiled and waved her hand, saying, you go ahead, I'll wait here. In her heart, she thought, I'm being bowed to again. I'm under a lot of pressure too. Suddenly, a group of people appeared from somewhere. The most noticeable was the young Vong, Tu Chi leading them. As soon as he saw her, he angrily shouted, it's you. Truck Ju, seeing the boy, was momentarily surprised and stared wide-eyed. The young Tu Chi angrily walked step by step with heavy footsteps towards her. He walked with a frown. Where did you run off to? Let me tell you, if you get lost, I won't go looking for you. As he said this, the boy seemed to be on the verge of tears. Truck Ryu found it amusing and replied to the boy, so you do know how to worry about me, huh? Looking at Tu Chi, she thought he didn't look threatening at all. Suddenly, from below came a loud noise. A group of people were taking turns saying, stop hitting, stop hitting. It turned out that some disciple was pinning another to the ground. That person was hitting hard and continuously cursing. You dare argue with me, young master. I'll beat you to death. The disciples around shouted, he's bleeding. Looking at the person enduring the beating, Truck Ju recognized that it was Chu Jiat, the boy beggar with dual spirit roots. She suddenly frowned, remembering that image. Suddenly, young Tu-Chi angrily pointed at True Tu-Ban. "Why are you hitting him?" Hearing the voice, he stopped and turned to look. The little girl beside him was already crying. Crying while explaining, Tu-Ban said he wanted to be the first to receive the Jade Tablet. He wouldn't let me or Chu Giant Brother receive it. He just said one thing, and then he started hitting Chu Giant Brother. True Tu-Ban sneered, arrogantly saying, "I'm already a Chi refining first level. You all don't have any cultivation at all, so I should be first." As he spoke, he grabbed a handful of Xiao Jie's hair. He gritted his teeth in pain. Zhu Ro couldn't bear to watch anymore. She darkened her face and rolled up her sleeves at this fat guy. Just as she was about to charge forward, someone suddenly grabbed her hand. He whispered, "Young sister, it's best not to interfere in matters like this. He's the son of the senior disciple elder. With water and with dual spirit roots, he's sure to enter the inner sect. So be careful not to bring trouble upon yourself." However, the young Ziji couldn't hold back anymore and shouted at Zhao Xiaoba. Before leaving, the elder already said to line up according to height and not leave your position. Why do you dare to cause such chaos? Be careful, or the elder will come and punish you. Zhao Xiaoba gave a contemptuous look and replied, I don't care about you lot. Then Ziji approached him, yet he showed signs of fear. Seeing this, Zhu Ro thought to herself, this kid is quite capable. Then he turned his back and left. Before leaving, he didn't forget to bump into Xiao Jie. Just you wait. Xiao Jie watched his back as he casually walked away. He frowned in displeasure. No one knew what he was thinking. One day, I will make everyone in this world crawl on my feet. Zhu Ro noticed that, for some reason, she felt uneasy. Our Zhu Ro cheerfully entered the room and said, Master, I went to collect my homework and found the place empty without a soul. She wondered if her master wasn't home, so there was nothing to do. She obediently sat on the bed practicing qi circulation. A few days later, Yuyin also returned, with a radiant aura. Seeing his little disciple lying flat on the bed like a stale bun, she knew her master had returned. Zhu Ro's eyes lit up as she ran to hug her master's leg. Her mouth couldn't stop crying. Master, after 3 days, you've finally returned. I'm about to starve to death. I want to eat. Yuyin helplessly explained. Immortal cultivators shouldn't eat too much. It easily affects cultivation. Hearing this, Zhu Ro felt like falling into life's abyss. Her face looked pitifully miserable. An hour later, vegetables were dancing in midair. Yuyin caught a carrot and sliced it, then lit the stove and stir-fried with a sizzle. In the blink of an eye, a sumptuous meal was laid out on the table. Zhu Ro's eyes blossomed. Her master now looked like a kind mother diligently caring for her starved child. She ate continuously until she let out a loud burp. Afterwards, Yuyin even cleaned up the dishes for her. The table was clean and shiny. Beside it was a little pig who, after eating her fill, was happy to have found such a divine master. After being fed, Zhu Ro thought to herself, having such an omnipotent master, I must work hard on my cultivation. Her diligence level had now reached 100%. Day and night, only Truck Ryu was seen glumly blaming herself. Those kids could all sense the spiritual energy, but why couldn't she perceive it? She sighed, saying it was so embarrassing. She thought having thunder spirit roots would be impressive. Suddenly she let out a cry. Her stomach suddenly cramped with a familiar feeling. This was her period coming. She thought this world wouldn't have such things. Truck Ryu rolled back and forth on the bed, constantly crying out, ouch, it's killing me this time. Hearing his little disciple's cries, Nakgon burst in asking, are you injured? Truck Ryu panicked and covered herself with a blanket, stammering, no, it's not that. Master, please go out. I'll be fine in a moment. But she couldn't hide everything. A deep red stain appeared on the peach-colored area. Seeing this, Nakgon became worried and suggested examining the wound to see how it was. Truck Ryu shouted stop, then retreated to a corner, waving her hands, saying she was fine. Master, just ignore me. But her master remained insistent. With that much blood, how can you be fine? Is someone threatening you? As he said this, he used magic to pull Truck Ryu closer. At this moment, she let out a scream, but ultimately fell into Nakgon's arms. She blushed and called out Master twice. This romantic scene didn't last long as Nakgon pulled down her pants. With a pop sound and a piercing scream of pervert master. From Truck Ryu, Nakgon couldn't help but wonder, what's wrong with my disciple? Why is she acting so strangely? Moreover, what do stop and pervert mean? Perhaps he needed to go to the mortal world to find out. He thought and acted, teleporting all over the mortal realm, making mortals think there were ghosts. Even chickens saw him and ran around in panic. After struggling to find information, he finally understood this was a normal phenomenon for women in the mortal world. At this time, Truck Ryu was lying on the bed resting. She barely opened her eyes and saw a figure. Looking closer, she saw her mother's silhouette, so she asked Mom. Then she startled awake and realized it was her master sitting there. He was embroidering something by hand. Truck Ryu marveled. Master even knows sewing and embroidery. How many life skills does Master actually have? Seeing his disciple awake, he asked, "You're up." As soon as she saw her master, she was startled, but Not Gone calmly handed her a strip of cloth. "This is for you." Truck Ryu asked, "What is this?" He calmly said, "For use during menstruation." She was speechless, so it's for menstruation. It looks just like a sanitary pad, doesn't it? Realizing something wasn't right, her cheeks suddenly turned red. For periods, you do need to use sanitary pads. Did Master make a sanitary pad for me? The white-haired person in front of her gently instructed, "Rest today. Your master will visit you tomorrow." Before leaving, she didn't forget to remind Truck Ryu, "If there's any inconvenience, just tell me directly. I won't blame you." Behind the kind mother's back was the naive child who didn't understand what was happening. Is there something wrong with our master's mind? At night, remembering a doctor's words from the mortal world that one shouldn't catch a cold during this special time, this mother quietly appeared again. The ring on her hand glowed. A blanket was placed on Truck Ryu, then 2, then 3. Under the master's diligence, the little disciple successfully had a new house made of 10 layers of blankets. Our Truck Ryu, dejected, rested her chin and complained, "It's been half a month since I went down the mountain. I'm so bored. Maybe I should visit that kid." Thinking is doing. She went to tap a senior's shoulder and asked, "Senior brother, do you know where a new disciple named Wang Ziji has been assigned?" The person surprisingly asked back, "You mean the new disciple of the sect leader, the one with the fire attribute heavenly spirit root?" Truck Ryu smiled without showing her teeth, nodding, "That's right." The senior brother in front of her wanted to know her identity. Feeling uneasy, she replied, "I'm his elder sister." Thinking to herself, if not an elder sister, should I say I'm his ancestor? The senior brother calmly said, "Junior Wang has become a disciple of the sect leader, so he should be at Sword Peak right now. If you don't mind, I can take you there." Truck Ryu happily thanked him. At Sword Peak, she hid behind a pillar watching Wang Ziji practice. As soon as he saw her, he exclaimed, "Wife." Hearing this, Truck Ryu knocked him on the head and scolded, "What kind of greeting is that? You don't know how to respect your elders." Wang Ziji, rubbing the bump on his head, explained, "Didn't my father say a woman follows her husband as heaven? So I'm older, you're younger." Truck Ryu, no longer angry, pinched his cheek and lovingly scolded, "You're still young. Instead of studying, you're always thinking about getting married. Who will want to be your wife?" The clever boy calmly asserted, "Of course it's you. A man of honor stands firm under the heavens. What I say, I must do. I'm already 10 years old. I said I would marry you, so I definitely will marry you. I won't abandon you." Many people can't even match a 10-year-old, you know? Truck Ryu turned away, coughed, and changed the subject. "I heard you became the sect leader's disciple." However, she still thought to herself, this kid is quite the talent, doesn't he? He'll probably be very powerful in the future. Hearing her question, Wang Ziji's eyes lit up, proudly boasting, "I'm the 7th disciple, you know. Let me tell you, I've already reached Shi refining stage 3. Even the senior brother didn't cultivate as fast as me. Don't you think I'm amazing?" Truck Ryu laughed along. That's right. You're the most amazing." Wang Ziji, pleased with the praise, was so proud his nose could have grown into a sewing needle. He scratched his head shyly and asked, "What about you? What level of chi cultivation have you reached?" Looking at the opponent like a starving ghost, Yu understood and reassured her, "Don't be sad. Even if you can't cultivate chi, it's okay. At worst, you'll just stop for a bit, then put on a super cute face and finish by saying, 'At worst, I'll take care of you.' Or you could become my master's disciple too. My master loves me, so he'll definitely agree." As he spoke, the boy grabbed Zhu Jiao's hand and pulled her along. He had just said don't when a dark shadow flashed by. In front of them was a man's body. It was Zhao Xiaoban. He fell down with his mouth and head covered in blood. Zhu Jiao covered Wang Ziji's eyes. Children shouldn't see such scenes. Looking back, it turned out the attacker was a boy about Wang Ziji's age, holding a blood-stained sword. His face was filled with killing intent. Behind him, a figure rushed forward. She shouted, "How dare you kill a fellow disciple?" Then she pinned him down. The boy's eyes were still full of anger while around them were only screams. "Quickly, go inform the master." By now, everyone had gathered around the scene. The master finally appeared. He asked, "What's all this commotion about?" A moment later, he seemed to realize something. Then he performed a spell. A stream of energy circled around Zhao Panzi's body. The person lying on the ground only let out a cry of pain. The master unexpectedly said, "This disciple's cultivation is completely gone. Who could have been so ruthless?" The boy named Si Jie, pinned to the ground, gritted his teeth and said he deserved to die. At the sect's main hall, Xiao Jie was tied up, kneeling before the sect leader and elders. Zhao Panzi's father angrily spoke up, disrespecting the sect rules, disregarding fellow disciples. So young yet so ruthless, he must be severely punished. I beg the sect leader and uncle to bring justice for me. Xiao Jie laughed mockingly. Since when has your son followed the sect rules? Bullying fellow disciples, abusing his power, hitting him was an act of justice. I only regret not hitting him hard enough. Hearing this, Zhao Panzi's father became even angrier. He was about to teach the boy a lesson when Zilian, who was also the Feng Zhu Qi Feng, stopped him. He said to the sect leader, his senior brother, "The situation is clear now. The sect has its rules. I hope senior brother will handle this fairly. According to the rules, we should destroy this person's cultivation, remove his spiritual root, and expel him from the sect." The sect leader thought differently. Disciple Si Jie's talent is excellent. It would be a shame to waste it. What should we do? While pondering, he noticed two kids sitting and eavesdropping by the door. Zhu Jiao nervously asked, "Does little junior uncle have any insights?" Upon hearing little junior uncle, everyone was shocked. Zhu Jiao broke into a sweat and had to greet everyone. Then she awkwardly smiled, making an excuse about her master calling her for dinner. But a moment later, she turned to stone as the door suddenly slammed shut. Truck Dew silently guessed in her heart, forcing me to take action. That cunning old fox, this sly sect leader, is afraid of offending others, so he's pushing this trouble onto me. She reluctantly said dejectedly, "Just release him for now." Zhao Banzi's father had to use magic to untie the ropes. Then Truck Ju seriously asked Hu Jiat, "Why did you use such heavy-handed methods?" He still only spat out 3 words, "He deserves to die," with utmost anger. Hu Jiat continued, "Ever since joining the sect until now, he has always been bullying Lin Lung. Lin Lung doesn't hold grudges against him, but he became even more outrageous. He almost killed Lin Lung. I've told the senior brother in charge, but because Zhao Xiaoban is the son of the senior disciple Qi Feng, they pretend they've never seen, never heard of this matter." The senior brother in charge felt guilty upon hearing this. Truck Ju asked further, "So that's why you killed Zhao Xiaoban? Did you consider that even if you killed Zhao Xiaoban, it wouldn't save Lin Lung? Moreover, you become a murderer." Hu Jiat shouted recklessly, "At least I've avenged Lin Lung. I killed someone who deserved to die." Truck Dew explained, "No one has the right to decide the life and death of others. Even if Zhao Xiaoban almost killed Lin Lung, that was originally his crime, but you wanted to kill him. You're responding with an even greater crime. Do you think that's right?" Hu Jiat gritted his teeth and swallowed his resentment. Then Truck Dew said to the sect leader, "Indeed, Hu Jiat severely injured Zhao Xiaoban, so he must bear the main responsibility. Great Master Uncle is truly wise, but Zhao Xiaoban bullied others first, which led to this incident. Therefore, he must also bear some responsibility." Truck Ju said to Zhao Xiaoban's father, "You're also at fault for not teaching Zhao Xiaoban properly. If you had discovered early that he was bullying his fellow disciples, advised him, then this wouldn't have happened. So you must also bear some responsibility." He bowed his head and admitted fault. "Thank you, Great Master Uncle, for the guidance." Truck Ju relaxed and said, "All right, I'm not very familiar with your sect's rules, sect leader. You decide how to punish them." The old sect leader beamed like flowers blooming in spring. "Little Master Uncle is truly insightful." She frowned, thinking, "You old fox. This is what you wanted me to say, right?" Back at Nok Lam Peak, Truck Ju hugged her master's leg, begging for help. "What should I do now? Your disciple has caused trouble again." Nakan asked what happened. She replied, "Last time, I offended the leader of Dan Peak. This time, I've offended 2 Dianjinren. I'm surely dead." She thought it would be like in romance novels, where the master would pat the head of his foolish little disciple and gently say, "Don't be afraid, I will protect you." Who would have thought her master, didn't even know who Tu Duyan was. Truk-Ju coughed up a mouthful of blood helplessly, saying she couldn't remember who the sect leader was. She put on a pitiful appearance, wanting to be comforted. Master must regret having a disciple like this, doesn't he? Or perhaps Master should find another disciple. She also thought to herself, this time coming down the mountain, I discovered that even the disciple with the worst aptitude has learned to channel chi into their body. Maybe I really am useless. Not Gon replied, cultivation is not a matter of haste. It requires comprehension. If you're concerned about cultivation speed, then go into seclusion to cultivate. From now on, you can't come down the mountain until you reach foundation establishment. This statement officially turned Truk-Ju to stone. Part 2. 5 years later, Truk-Ju was cultivating while secretly complaining about her master's strictness. 5 years and still not allowed to come down the mountain. But why even now she still couldn't sense anything. Suddenly, she heard someone's voice. Turning around, she saw a familiar figure with orange hair, happily playing with a flock of friendly birds. Stop pecking, or I'll have to take action, he shouted loudly. Truk-Ju approached speechlessly, telling the silly bird to stop. The boy looked at her with teary eyes. He called out wife twice. Truk-Ju asked in surprise, are you that little boy? The boy puffed his cheeks and reminded her, I've told you so many times, call me Wang Ziji. She smiled, patting his head, right. The little boy from before has become a young man now. This action made Wang Ziji's face turn red. He asked, how have you been these past years? She smiled lightly and replied, fine. How about you? How's your cultivation? Has anyone bullied you? Wang Ziji shared, Master and senior brothers have been very good to me. My cultivation has made some progress. I'm now at the peak of Qi refining. The day after tomorrow is the sect competition. I'll participate in the Qi refining group. The top 3 will be rewarded with foundation establishment pills. Then he dealt Truk-Ju a fatal blow. By the way, Sister Truk-Ju, how's your cultivation going? He cruelly stabbed a few more times. I can't sense Sister Truk-Ju's cultivation level. Besides your cultivation being higher than mine, could it be that you haven't learned to channel chi into your body yet? If I had known you had no cultivation at all, I definitely wouldn't have mentioned this. Don't worry, channeling chi into the body is very difficult. It took me a whole night to do it. Truly inexperienced in life. One night, Truk-Ju hasn't managed it in 5 years. She angrily called the birds to play with him again. Heavens, she could still hear him excitedly chatting with these new friends. He didn't forget to remind her, you must come watch me compete. Truk-Ju felt helpless. She needed to come down the mountain to watch, right? But cultivating like this was going nowhere. Perseverance pays off eventually. Truk-Ju suddenly fell into a void. She wondered if this was spiritual energy. This must be Thunder's spiritual energy. Just need to make it enter the body, right? Isn't that so? She reached out her finger to touch his spirit energy. Suddenly, a light flashed around her and pain struck. At this moment, at the Cao Sect's ancestral hall, in a few more hours, the Mountain Protection Grand Formation will be fully enhanced. The sect leader asked, not gone. Suddenly, a lightning bolt struck down. He looked in that direction. Isn't that Nok Lam Peak? At this time, the area around the mountain was pitch black. Thunder roared, and in the blink of an eye, Nok Gon had disappeared. The sect leader was shocked. Grand Master, the formation hasn't been fully enhanced yet. Where are you going? As soon as he reached the mountaintop, he saw Truk-Ju lying there. Blood was trickling from the corner of her mouth. He lifted her head and said, don't speak anymore. He told her to focus her mind on protecting her heart, meridians, and absorb spirit energy. Then he used his finger to point at the center of her forehead. Only then did Truk-Ju sit up and follow his instructions. Nok Gon wondered, Foundation Establishment Grand Perfection. Why suddenly did Nok Vong break through to Foundation Establishment Grand Perfection? Then he carried her back home. He put her on the bed and said, you rest now. Don't tell anyone about what happened today. Though in pain, Truk-Ju still smiled and said yes. Thank you, Master, for saving this disciple's life. I have nothing to repay you with. How about I offer myself as repayment? Nok Gon suddenly pulled the blanket up for her. The distance between them was close, within inches. He said softly, you already belong to me. At this moment, Truk-Ju's heart was pounding like drums in a lion dance. She asked, belonging to Master means? Thoughts were racing through her mind. What's with this domineering CEO style? In less than a second, the Lord of Romance Destruction spoke up. You are my personal disciple. so of course you belong to me. Truck Ju only saw a crow cawing as it flew by, as if laughing at her. The next day, she felt her body was in great condition. The feeling was completely different. It wasn't in vain to transmigrate here. As soon as she met her master, she jumped up like a puppy greeting its owner, her hands waving excitedly. "Master, what did you eat this morning?" Notgon replied, "Now that you've reached Foundation Establishment, you can practice Bigu. So from now on, don't eat rice anymore." Hearing she couldn't eat, Truck Ju became gloomy. "Oh, not eating anything will take away so much joy from life. Master, how about we occasionally have a meal to improve our quality of life?" But he remained unyielding. "Not allowed. Mortal plants contain too many impurities. They're very detrimental to cultivation. These days, you should focus on practicing magic. In a month, I'll take you to participate in a competition." Truck Ju was surprised. "Does this disciple have to participate too? I'm sure I'll lose." Notgon pulled his hand back and coldly replied, "Then try harder in your practice. How far have you gotten with sword riding technique?" Mentioning practice, she hesitated again. "About that, Master, can this disciple fly a bit lower?" She was then seen being dragged outside by him to practice flying on a sword. Truck Ryu shook her head back and forth while shouting loudly, "Master, I really can't do it. Please spare my life." Truck Ryu cried and whined, "Master, can I change to a different weapon?" Her master turned and asked, "What kind of weapon do you want?" She asked in surprise, "Master, will you find one for your disciple?" "That's too much trouble. I don't have many requirements. Just a bit wider, easier to handle, can attack and defend, and best if it can be folded." She said it was too much trouble, but she didn't seem troubled at all. After hearing her wishes, Nakman Tan Thuong just said and quickly disappeared. 1 month later, Truck Ryu glumly complained, "Master left, but why did he set up this formation? Not even a mosquito can fly in. There's no one to talk to. Why hasn't Master returned yet?" Just as she finished speaking, her master appeared before her eyes. The girl gasped in surprise. "Speak of the devil, and he shall appear." Her master took out a jade tablet, saying, "I put the weapon you wanted in this jade tablet." Truck Ryu's eyes widened as she looked at it. This is when she learned that inside the jade tablet was only a set of clothes, a fan, and 2 books. She felt very disappointed. But when she opened the fan, a cherry blossom scent wafted out, causing Truck Ryu to exclaim, "It smells so good, Master." She said that when this fan is deployed, it can be used as a flying magical tool. Its speed is equal to that of a flying sword. She asked her master, "Did you spend the whole month making this fan for your disciple?" Hearing this, Truck Ryu was deeply moved. With tears in her eyes, she hugged her master tightly. "Master, you're so kind. I will definitely work hard in my cultivation so that Master can retire in peace." Her master turned his face away, saying, "It's time to depart." The two held hands tightly and set off. They glided together across the vast sky. At the great martial arts arena, Truck Ryu and her master entered together. She thought to herself, wearing the sect's uniform feels strange somehow. The head of the Kuko sect immediately stood up. "Greetings, Grandmaster Uncle." He thought to himself, it's been thousands of years since Grandmaster Uncle came to watch the competition. Yet today, he came just for his disciple. He noticed Notgon Tan Thuong's appearance. 5 years ago, Little Master Uncle hadn't even begun to channel Qi, but now she's already at the great perfection stage. Indeed, a great master produces outstanding disciples. Everyone on both sides bowed respectfully. Greeting, Enguk and Gonton Tuong. They all trembled in fear. This was Notgon Tan Thuong, the #1 cultivator in the immortal realm. It was said that Notgon Tan Thuong hadn't appeared before others for 10,000 years. Yet now he had appeared. Suddenly, a shout rang out. The 3 venerable ones have arrived. Thuong Daik Chiem Vong and Nanim appeared in a very cool manner. Since their appearance, Truck Ryu felt extremely uncomfortable, her face turning pale. Her whole body trembled. The pressure was too strong. Seeing this, her master immediately exerted an even greater pressure, causing the 3 venerable ones to unexpectedly fall down. They were extremely frightened and said, "Jade Speech Senior Uncle, please withdraw your pressure." They descended shakily, then respectfully bowed their heads to greet the senior uncle. Yiran asked, "Is this the little junior sister that senior uncle just accepted?" He thought to himself, no wonder senior uncle exerted such great pressure earlier. It must be because we inadvertently affected this little junior sister. Jade Speech stepped forward with a grim face, protecting Zhu Yao. The three venerable ones were terrified, thinking they had been controlled by a disciple. Everyone sat in their proper positions according to their rank. The person sitting in the highest position was none other than Jade Speech Venerable. Zhu Yao stood there, but her mind was focused on something else. Well, if there was some Coca-Cola, it would be a supersized combo. It started so quickly. Oh, that's the kid. And the other one is Xiao Jie. The two opponents looked at each other with murderous gazes. Ziqi fiercely launched the wind blade technique. The ground split in two. Xiao Jie calmly laughed, mocking him as a child. He still stood tall, showing no fear. Ziqi sent someone standing behind him. Thanks to his quick reflexes, he blocked Xiao Jie's sneak attack. Ziqi used the sword formation technique. A loud explosion occurred. The spectators witnessing this scene were terrified. No, it's impossible for someone at the foundation building stage to complete the sword formation, but Zhu Yao couldn't believe her eyes either. Since when did the kid become so powerful? Nearly 10 sword strikes were launched. Xiao Jie panted heavily, trying to encourage himself. I absolutely cannot lose. I absolutely cannot lose. His face was filled with determination. I can only use that technique. Sky Slash, a vortex, appeared above. The senior cultivators were extremely surprised. Sky Slash. That's a sword technique of the Golden Core stage. Who would have thought that among the ordinary disciples, there would be someone so powerful? Xiao Jie's powerful sword appeared. Ziqi now looked much weaker in comparison. The young man still didn't back down and shouted, "Destroy." Zhu Yao was extremely worried. It's dangerous. Wang Ziqi is in danger. Facing the power of that sword, Ziqi's expression also changed. A bolt of lightning struck the ground right in front of him. It was Zhu Yao who had created that lightning bolt. Thanks to that lightning bolt, the ground was pierced, creating a hole. Smoke rose in thick clouds. The spectators and senior cultivators looked at her in bewilderment. All eyes were now focused on Zhu Yao. She trembled and asked, "If I say I didn't mean to do that, would you believe me?" A hand appeared and grabbed her clothes. It turned out to be Jade Speech Venerable. Zhu Yao struggled and cried out in desperation, "Master." Jade Speech said it was almost dark, and as soon as he finished speaking, the master and she disappeared without a trace. The sect leader was stunned and could only stand and watch. Why am I always the one to solve problems? Tu Chi is irritated while Tu Jiat remains calm. The sect leader spoke up to announce, "The winner of this match is Tu Jiat. He is also the one who won first place in the Qi cultivation group." Tu Jiat respectfully thanked the sect leader. The Phoenix Venerable raised her phoenix wings. Then she seriously asked a question. "Your name is Tu Jiat." He looked at Phoenix Venerable with fascination. After a moment, he knelt down and said yes. She asked further, "Are you willing to become my disciple?" Everyone was shocked upon hearing this. Did I hear that correctly? Phoenix Venerable wants to take on a disciple. Phoenix Venerable has never taken on a disciple before. It's unbelievable. She glared and asked, "You don't want to?" Tu Jiat, frightened, quickly replied, "This disciple is willing. Your disciple pays respects to master." Phoenix Venerable nodded with satisfaction. She extended her hand forward. A light appeared on Tu Jiat's forehead. It was the symbol of Phoenix Venerable appearing right there. That is the personally taught disciple at Nok Lam Peak. Nok-on Venerable had successfully rescued Truck Yu. She cried while explaining to her master disciple, "Didn't mean to really, that's how it happened. It must be that great spirit sword that has a problem." As soon as I saw that spirit sword, I felt there was something wrong. Her master said, "You did the right thing." Hearing this, she became happy and said, "Right. Clearly it wasn't my fault." Wait, what did master just say? Not-Gone helplessly sighed, not wanting to speak. After a while, her master explained that person didn't condense a spirit sword, but sword intent. Truck Yu's eyes widened in surprise. Sword intent. Only sword cultivators at the Golden Core stage can cultivate sword intent. Not-Gone pondered and said, "That's the theory. He must have a special treasure. That's why he could cultivate sword intent." She asked her master if he knew what kind of special treasure it was. In her mind, she suddenly realized he was bullied since childhood, accidentally obtained a special treasure, then defeated monsters to level up and finally reach the peak. Clearly, Tu Jiat was just like the main characters. Her master replied, although I don't know what kind of special treasure it is. But it must be very beneficial to his spiritual root. Sword intent is even more powerful than spirit swords. Ordinary spells cannot stop it. Just now you used heavenly thunder. It's the purest force in the world, so it could dispel the sword intent. Truck Dew fearfully stuttered, asking if her master meant. Not Gone said if there was no heavenly thunder that boy would have died just now. Hearing this like thunder striking her ears, Truck Dew showed a sad expression. Not Gone Venerable then gently patted her head to comfort her, saying, "Don't worry, although he has great fortune to obtain a special treasure, your fortune is no less than his." Even so, she was still worried and asked her master, "Is the little one all right?" Seeing that she was still worried about Wang Ziji made him a bit angry. He blamed, "Why do you care so much about an outsider like that? He's Mo's disciple. If anything happens, he has his master." This made her a bit confused. She thought to herself, why did master suddenly change his attitude like that? Though she thought so, she didn't pay much attention to it. Instead, she asked about something else. "Master, do you have any defensive magical treasures? Can I borrow one for a while?" She was calculating in her mind again. Based on Xiao Yi's gloomy psychology, he might make a deadly move against the kid. His face darkened as he said, unhappily, "No, I don't." Before she could say anything, he immediately teleported away, not giving her a chance to say a word. At this moment, she could only squat down, muttering to herself desolately, "If you don't have any, then forget it. Why are you so angry? Stingy, miserly, heartless, not giving me a single penny, not even giving me a magical treasure." 1 month later, everyone gathered again, waiting for orders to go down the mountain for training. She was also present to participate in this training session. She held the team leader's flag and felt secretly happy inside. He didn't give me a magical treasure, but letting me go down the mountain for training is good too. Behind her was the young boy Ziji, who happily called out, "Senior sister Zhu Ruo. We're in the same team now." She glanced down at the ranks, seeing Ce. She showed a displeased look and thought, "But I didn't expect that little devil to be here too." At this moment, the sect leader spoke to announce, "Disciples, hear the order to prepare for departure." Then leaf-shaped flying ships rose into the air. She and the disciples of her group were already steady on the flying ship. She turned her head and asked the young boy, "What are we planning to do down the mountain this time?" In her heart, she was thinking about all kinds of food and wine. He held up a card and replied, "This contains our mission." Hearing this, her dreams of eating and drinking vanished immediately. She complained, "Isn't going down the mountain for training and sightseeing? What mission is there?" He replied, "The mission is for training, and each team of 5 has their own mission." She asked dejectedly, "So what's our mission?" He looked at the card and answered, "Near you city, there's a small town. It said that in the past month, over 50 people have continuously gone missing. Our mission is to go there and investigate the cause." Hearing this, she immediately perked up and said, "Is it the town near you forest? Sounds interesting." Currently in the town, they were staying at an inn to rest and conveniently investigate the situation of the disappearances. The waiter told them what he knew. Since a month ago, people in the town have been continuously disappearing. Some were locals, some were temporary visitors. Most of them were healthy young men. No one knows how they disappeared. There wasn't anything unusual either. It's just that the next day, when they opened the door, no one was in the room. Lin Lung looked at Tu Jiat nervously and said, "All the missing people are men." "So, Brother Tu Jiat." The girl next to her spoke up to comfort Lin Lung. "Junior sister, don't worry. Uncle Tu Jiat is so powerful, he'll definitely be fine. Brother Wang will also protect us." She turned to ask for your opinion. "What do you think, Sister Truck Duong?" You waved your hand confidently and said, "Relax, the waiter already said it. The missing ones are all healthy men. These 2 kids are far from meeting the requirements." As you finished speaking, you punched him hard and let out a long laugh. The other person showed a slightly embarrassed look for Tu Chi, who was trembling on the side. As for you, 3 question marks appeared above your head as you looked at them puzzled. Then, it seemed you also became aware of your actions and coughed to divert everyone's attention. "Let's go to bed early today." He sat on the side, blushing and looking at you shyly. Truck Duong regained her composure, put on a serious face, and assigned tasks. "Tomorrow, everyone will split up to investigate. Return here in the evening for a meeting." Everyone responded in unison, yes. Late at night, when everyone was sound asleep, at a corner of the inn's corridor, there was a figure sneaking around. The shadow entered your room and carefully approached the bed. With a swoosh, you sat up, ready to strike the shadow, only to find it was too chi. He quickly grabbed your wrist and called out, "Sister Truck Duong, it's me." You exclaimed in surprise, "Kid." He said seriously, "Sister Truck Duong, I have something to discuss with you." He then handed you a paper crane. You looked at it and asked, "What's this?" He remembered the red handkerchief and explained, "I found this in the room of one of the missing people. At that time, I sensed a bit of demonic energy on it. I cast a tracking spell on this paper crane. Just now, the paper crane returned. It must have found the owner of this handkerchief." You excitedly continued, "You mean you found the one behind the disappearances?" He sighed and replied, "I can't be certain yet, but if we follow the paper crane, we'll surely find some clues." Hearing this, you immediately stood up and praised enthusiastically, "Well done. Let's go there now and see what we can find." He then held out 2 talismans and said, "There's more. These are concealment talismans my master gave me before I left the mountain. Once attached to the body, will become invisible. Even cultivators at the yuaning stage won't be able to detect us." You took the talisman and exclaimed in admiration. You thought to yourself, "That's what I call a master. My master is so stingy and miserly." At the Jade Gate sect, the master sneezed. He looked around in confusion. It was now late at night, and there was no one outside the inn. You took the paper crane and sneaked into the bushes with him. He spoke first. "It seems the owner of that handkerchief has passed through here. Our target must be over there." She replied dejectedly, "We've been watching for an hour and haven't seen anything." Suddenly, 2 people appeared in front. It was Shao Jie chasing after his 6th junior sister, explaining, "Sixth sister, please listen to my explanation." The 6th sister shouted, "I won't listen. I won't listen." Seeing this scene made her excited again. She commented on the script, "It's so cheesy, isn't it? Sounds interesting though." Zhu Qi, sitting next to her, had a face full of black lines. He grabbed the 6th sister's hand, pulling her back, saying, "Sixth sister, please listen to me. I've lived with Ling Long since childhood, so I have a responsibility to take care of her." The 6th sister retorted, "You're lying. It's clear that you like her." Zhu Qiu commented internally, "It's even a love triangle. More interesting." He earnestly said, "Don't you understand my feelings for you yet? From the first time I saw you in the square, in my mind, I always have your image." He pulled the 6th sister into his arms and continued, "Every word, every action, even every smile of yours makes my heart flutter. Without you, perhaps my heart would stop beating." From the bushes, she was still enthusiastically commenting, "This kid should be in a soap opera. What a waste of talent." While he still had a head full of black lines. On the side of the secretly loving couple, the 6th sister shyly called out, "Shao Jiegij." He replied, "Sixth Mimi." At this moment, their lips were slowly moving closer, unaware they were being watched. Zhu Qiu, seeing the intense scene in front of her, became even more excited, thinking, "It's starting. It's starting. They're kissing." She couldn't help but exclaim excitedly in her heart. While watching, her eyes suddenly went dark. Only the sound of kissing could be heard. The 2 of them, just as their lips touched, he quickly closed his eyes and covered Zhu Qiu's eyes as well, making her cry out, "Kid, let go. It's getting to the exciting part. Don't cover my eyes like this." He refused to let go and advised, "Sister Zhu Qiu, don't look at improper things." At the same time, a white-haired woman appeared saying, "I thought it was someone else." At this moment, she and he were immediately shocked and alert to the newcomer. The newcomer was a 5-tailed female fox spirit. She sat on a tree looking down, saying, "So it's a pair of lovebirds who can't stand loneliness." He and the 6th sister also cautiously looked at her. Seeing the newcomer, everyone exclaimed in unison, "Five-tailed fox spirit." He immediately grabbed his sword, taking a defensive stance to protect the 6th sister behind him. Seeing this, the fox spirit laughed loudly. While laughing, she waved her hand, creating crescent-shaped sword blades attacking toward Shao Jie. He raised his sword to block the attack, but he was still hit by her technique. He silently lamented, "This is bad. It's the imprisonment technique." He was tied up by her, and his sword fell to the ground. She reached out to touch his face. Her finger lifted his chin seductively as she said, "Little brother, this girl can't satisfy you. Don't you need big sister's help?" She praised his physique, saying the yang energy of cultivators is very nourishing. She didn't expect to be so lucky today. Suddenly, there was a shout, "Let go of Xiao Jiajia." At the same time, A sharp ice shard flew towards her. She lifted his chin with one hand, and with the other shattered the incoming ice. Her face smug, she sniffed lightly and said, "You don't know your own limits." Seeing her easily break her technique, Six's junior sister became worried. Before she could react, she was struck and slammed hard against a tree, crying out in pain. Seeing this, he shouted in distress, "Sixth junior sister." She turned to him and said, "Don't worry, little brother. I won't kill you. Big sister will take good care of you." As she spoke, she pressed her body against his. Suddenly, a voice from above startled her. "Brazen fox spirit, how dare you cause trouble here?" It was Zhu Yao's voice. She turned to see her flying on a sword above and said, "A Yuaning cultivator." Her face now serious, she stared intently at the fox spirit before her. Realizing the newcomer was a Yuaning cultivator, she became frightened, kneeling down and kowtowing for mercy. "This lowly spirit didn't know you were here. I've offended you unknowingly. Please forgive me, senior. You may scold me as you wish." She couldn't believe her bad luck, encountering a Yuaning cultivator from Chogu's sect. She didn't believe her words. "I have the Zao Z in my hand, yet you dare to lie." Then she sent a lightning bolt down in front of the fox spirit, making her tremble in fear. The lightning strike created a deep crater. Seeing this, her face immediately turned dark. She continued, "You injured disciples of Chogu's sect and still dare to say it was unintentional." She quickly tried to defend herself, hoping to escape punishment. "Senior, you misunderstand. This lowly spirit was just playing with them a little." Inwardly, she felt lucky. "Good thing I didn't kill that girl. I hope this one just happened to pass by and doesn't know what I've done in the town." She coldly asked, playing. She put on a fawning face and said, "If Senior has no other instructions, this lowly spirit begs to take her leave." Then she quickly ran away. Zhu Qi, seeing her disappear, poked his head out. He turned and asked Sister Zhu Yao, "Are you all right?" As he turned, she dropped her act, losing her composure, and plopped down on the ground, sighing, "I'm exhausted." Then she burst into tears and continued lamenting, "That Dao Xian spell used up all my spiritual energy. I almost fell to my death on the other side." He helped Six's junior sister up and forced a smile. Xiao Yi also came over, clasped his hands, and bowed in gratitude. "Thank you, Martial Aunt, for saving our lives." She happily accepted the apology, saying, "It's nothing." Before she could finish, the fox spirit returned and spoke, "Little brother, you'd better save that gratitude." Everyone turned in shock to look at the fox spirit. She came back to expose their tricks. She smiled and said, "If you're going to act, at least see it through to the end. I haven't even gone far, and you're already crying your eyes out. It's hard not to hear it, senior. Your face looks quite unpleasant. I wonder if this little demon can help in any way." Their faces were all unpleasant at this moment. Chuck Ji replied, "I'd like your help too, but unfortunately, you're not a male fox demon." Hearing this, she became furious. She commanded her tail to fly towards them and shouted, "You rotten girl. How dare you tease me?" The girl shouted a warning for her teammates to move away. They had just moved when the tail slammed down where they had been standing. She lifted her tail, revealing a deep pit. The fox demon laughed loudly again, manipulating demonic energy to surround her body. She waved her hand, turning the energy into ropes that flew out while saying loudly, "You really don't know your own limits." Truck Ju spoke up, reminding them to find gaps to avoid. Then she thought to herself, "It wasn't in vain that I've been grinding this game for so long. I didn't expect it to be useful at a time like this. Now let's fight this fox demon boss." The 5th grade fox demon excitedly said, "You're quite quick-witted, but that's still not enough." After saying that, she used her power to set up a fire spell. Everyone present there, under Truck Ju's reminder, quickly flew up and managed to dodge an attack. The girl in the air tried to reassure herself, "Stay calm, there must be a solution. Our team doesn't have a healer, but at least we have 3 DPS in the game. If we don't have a healer, then the only way to fight the boss is hit and run." She softly called 2Dat's name, "Use your earth element skill down there. The wider, the better." "Yes." The boy beside her immediately responded. He used his skill to fight against the 5th grade fox demon. In a short time, the fox demon quickly dodged to one side. At this moment, her face was full of tension. Truck Ju said, "Quickly spread out." Spread out as far as possible and strike when you have the chance. Giant kept attacking continuously, causing the fox demon to cry out in pain. Immediately after, she quickly activated a protective shield. The fox demon still shouted loudly, "You worms, you!" As soon as she finished speaking, she broke into a sinister smile. Truckju suddenly realized something. She couldn't help but exclaim, "Such strong demonic energy." Even though her spiritual energy hasn't recovered, she must risk using heavenly lightning once more. Although the heavenly lightning can't kill the fox demon instantly, the girl hurriedly said, Giant, quickly launch your sword energy." At the same time, she also used her power, causing dark clouds to gather rapidly along with deafening thunder. Seeing that the young man didn't follow her instructions, the girl shouted loudly, Giant, what are you still hesitating for?" Taking advantage of everyone's distraction, the fox demon suddenly attacked Truckju. The girl seemed unable to believe her eyes. Around her, the screams of the people from earlier rang out. Truckju's consciousness gradually became blurry. She reluctantly asked herself if she was really dead. Suddenly, the system sent a notification. "You have died. Do you want to return to the respawn point?" At this moment, Truckju was left with only her soul. She stood in front of her little brother, who was holding her body and crying. She suddenly felt a bit confused. Then she wondered why there was an online game here. She thought this was a cultivation world. Besides, both options were yes, so why even ask? Wang Ziji tried to comfort himself, saying, "Sister Truckju will be fine." He then proceeded to treat the girl. Suddenly, the source of power dissipated. He vaguely realized the current dire situation and cried out with a sob. "Sister Truckju promised to protect me forever." "You promised, so why, Sister Truckju?" The girl, seeing this painful sight, felt heartbroken and called out, "Little one." Suddenly, the system displayed multiple questions about whether Truckju wanted to return to the respawn point or not. She found it annoying and waved her hand, saying, "Get out of the way." Suddenly, her hand hit the answer to the question. The system immediately announced, "Resurrection confirmed." While Truckju was on one side, she unintentionally said, "I just slipped my hand." Right after that, the system began to reconfirm to execute according to her choice. In a short time, the status was about to be completed, returning to the real world. The five-tailed fox licked her lips and called out to the little brother, "Now is not the time to cry." She was like a wild beast pouncing on her prey, Ziji. Her mouth kept shouting loudly, "Die quickly." Suddenly, from afar, a dagger flew in. It finally stopped with a thud in the fox's body. Before she could cry out in pain, she had already turned into strands of fur floating on the ground. The people below looked up to the sky in surprise. It was the man named Tun Thuong who had come to help. Wang Ziji cried and said, "Lord Tun Thuong, you have great divine powers. You must have a way to save Sister Truckju. Please, I beg you, please save Sister Truckju." Upon hearing these words, the young man immediately stepped forward to support Truckju. His mouth anxiously said, "Let go." He began to treat the girl. However, no matter how hard he tried, she still didn't move. Tun Thuong, heartbroken, gritted his teeth and said, "It's too late." Just when he thought Truckju was beyond saving, the girl's body showed new progress. He quietly observed and thought to himself, "The divine consciousness I placed in Truckju is still in the human world." Time passed in an instant. On a certain day, 100 years later, Truckju looked at the sky in front of her and sighed to herself, "It's too bright. Where is this place?" The maid beside her, seeing this scene, asked, "Oh my, young miss, why are you crawling outside again?" As soon as she finished speaking, the girl picked up Truckju. Then she put her in the baby crib and gently coaxed, "Be good, young miss. Don't run away anymore." A moment ago, Truckju was still a beautiful young woman. Yet in the next moment, she turned into a baby who hadn't even stopped nursing. She was surprised and wondered what was happening. Why did I become a child? That figure flying in the sky looks familiar. At that moment, Tun Thuong descended from above, approaching Truckju. This scene made her exclaim involuntarily, "What kind of situation is this?" The man asked himself, "You were abandoned. Did you see anyone abandoned in your courtyard?" The girl's inner voice was screaming. Tun Thuong spoke to himself, "It's all right. I'll be your family. I'll take you as my disciple. From now on, I'll be your master." As for Truck Yu, she really wanted to respond with, "My family is in there." The young man was still determined to take the little treasure before him back with him, his face expressionless as he said, "Since you've agreed, let's go to Nok Lam Chamber." Who agreed? I don't want to cultivate, the girl thought. At Nok Lam Chamber, Truck Yu, in the form of a child, was continuously biting the young man's hand. Looking at the adorable appearance of the little girl before him, and his hand covered in saliva, he couldn't help but mutter to himself, "Biting alone won't do." Right after that, he turned and left. Before leaving, he didn't forget to instruct, "Be good and sit here while I go get food for you." A moment later, Tan Thuong brought a bowl of white rice to Truck Yu. The man looked at the unenthusiastic child and thought, "Don't you like it?" Meanwhile, the child screamed internally, "I don't have teeth to eat rice." The girl crawled while thinking, "Run, escape." Meanwhile, the young man beside her could easily catch her with just one hand. He said sternly, "It seems I'll have to ask you." Then he immediately picked up the child and turned away. Since returning from 2Mo Chan Nan's place, the master had started his daughter-raising mode. Truck Yu began to return to the days of just eating and sleeping. At first, Nakan Tan Thuong just listened to old 2Mo feed porridge to her, then followed Hong Chu's suggestion to let a spirit beast nurse her. But of course, this Tan Thuong was too foolish, lacking any childcare skills. The porridge was so hot, it burned her tongue, and he didn't even properly milk into a bottle for her to drink. Even for sleeping, she had to sleep with him. Truck Yu thought this wasn't so bad. Except for letting him bathe her, why couldn't she have freedom even when bathing? Even children know how to feel embarrassed. But her complaints only came out as meaningless wah-wah sounds. Even more outrageous was when another disciple cheerfully asked, "I wonder what the name of Tai Su Tuk's disciple is." Nok Gon replied very nonchalantly, "The girl's surname is Nok, like mine, and her name is just one character. Me too." Every time Truck Yu thought about it, she felt so bitter she didn't want to drink milk anymore. You're the two. Your whole family is two. However, after staying long in hardship, she got used to it. Today, suddenly feeling so empty and lonely, Truck Yu felt unfamiliar. Then carefully climbed down from the bed to go outside, not knowing where Master went. "Let's go out and see." Truck Ryu's body was still too small at this time, so she had to crawl the entire way with great difficulty. She looked up to see birds circling in the sky. The remarkable thing was she could clearly see each of its feathers from such a far distance. Truck Ryu's eyes lit up in amazement at her ability. Could it be that her cultivation had also been reborn? Truck Ryu, filled with hope, began to sit cross-legged to try circulating spiritual energy. "Let's see if my spiritual energy is still here." And the result was surprise, nothing at all, making her disappointed for a moment unexpectedly that spring wasn't there. Truck Ryu sighed deeply and continued marching on when the 82nd calamity arrived as she misstepped and tumbled down the mountain, landing straight into a bush. "Why is there a child here?" A voice rang out, and immediately after, Truck Ryu was lifted up by someone. When she regained her bearings, Truck Ryu realized she was nestled in the arms of a gentle, handsome man. Truck Ryu's eyes lit up brightly not because of an unfinished obsession with men from her past life, but because this person was none other than the little prince Tu Chi from before. He really looked different when grown up. Truck Ryu tried to call out little one, but the words that came out of her mouth were just meaningless and ah sounds. Tu Chi smiled at her. What an adorable little girl. Truck Ryu squirmed and scolded him. "You're the little one. When you were 10 years old, you were just like this." Tu Chi, not knowing she had been reborn, just gently teased the little child in his arms. All right, don't be angry. Which peak are you a disciple of? Let senior brother take you back." Truck Ryu then used and ah sounds and pointed to a mountain where she lived. When Tu Chi saw this, instead of being surprised at the child's unusual understanding, he worried about something else. "You're from Jade Forest Peak. I heard from Master that Great Grandmaster just accepted a new disciple. I didn't expect it to be true. So you are Great Grandmaster's new disciple. You know, I'm very familiar with your senior sister." These words were referring to her. Truck Ryu looked at him in bewilderment. "Little one." Tu Chi spoke, though thinking this child wouldn't understand anything. "But everyone has forgotten her. Even Master is the same. After just 100 years, he's taken a new disciple." Along with the anger in his heart, his hand holding Truck Ryu also tightened, causing her to curl up in pain. Finally, he let out a deep sigh. "But it's okay. Even if the whole world forgets, I still remember her. I'll remember her forever." Come, little one, let me take you back. In Tuchi's arms, Truck Ryu was now filled with chaotic thoughts. Have I been dead for 100 years? After 100 years, he still cares about me like this. She was extending her arms and hugging Tuchi's neck as if to say, my little one, I have returned. But he clearly didn't understand and asked some very ignorant questions. Why are you suddenly so wet? Did the little one wet the bed? It was a waste to have felt sympathetic earlier. Now Truck Ryu was angry again and wanted to scold this fool. No, it's not me. After Tuchi brought Truck Ryu back, some time later, Nakgon Tun Thuong also returned and quickly discovered something unusual. Someone came here, so it was that brat. Kidnapping my first disciple wasn't enough. Now he wants to kidnap my second disciple. Nakgon came to give Truck Ryu a milk bottle and instructed, in the future, don't carelessly follow unscrupulous people. Truck Ryu couldn't speak, so she used a trick and sprayed the milk bottle straight in her master's disrespectful beak. No one is allowed to badmouth my little one, right? At that moment, a thunderous roar shook the sky, causing Truck Ryu to be startled like a swallow and frightened like a little frog. The master calmly wiped the milk off his face and said, don't be afraid. This is someone preparing to form their core. Both of them looked out the window at the sky where dark clouds were gathering with flashes of lightning. In the midst of the gloomy and fierce storm, ordinary people would rush to find shelter. But Nakgon carried Truck Ryu out to the edge of the cliff like a widow waiting for her husband. He looked at the sky and said, I'm afraid this is the 9-9 Thunder Tribulation. Such a large one means the person forming their core must be extraordinary. Truck Ryu looked outside, her mind filled with her own thoughts. On an empty platform, a young man was in a meditative state, preparing to endure the thunder tribulation. Terrifying bolts of thunder and lightning struck continuously, but around the young man was a protective ring of light that prevented the tribulation from harming the person inside. The young man smiled excitedly. Great, just as I thought. With this treasure, I will surely become the ruler of the world. All those who look down on me, just wait and see. Power and women will all be mine. Another bolt of lightning struck down from above, but this time the path of the lightning was very strange. It suddenly stopped in midair and then abruptly changed direction to one side. Truck Ryu began to sense something was wrong. Oh no, it seems this lightning is striking towards me. She screamed out an SOS signal. Oh heavens, save me. Someone else's tribulation has nothing to do with me. It should strike him instead. Nakgon, on the contrary, remained calm and handsome, confidently saying, fortunately, it's only the heavenly thunder of the Golden Core stage, so I can certainly handle it. However, speaking too soon often leads to failure. The esteemed master hadn't finished his words before being struck hard by the tribulation lightning. In that moment, Truck Ryu seemed to smell the scent of grilled meat wafting through the air. This teammate was truly overcooked. Nakgon quickly used a spell to clean his clothes to save some face. Earlier was just a messy 9 heavenly thunders. That was just a draft. Now Master will do it for real. The spiritual energy in the air suddenly condensed, forming the image of a large dragon coiling. Before their eyes, the Master and disciple Truck Ryu were amazed. Is this a dragon or what? The dragon suddenly opened its eyes, then let out an earth-shattering roar rushing towards them as if wanting to attack. Truck Ryu couldn't help but cry a little inside. Why is it flying towards me? But this dragon was very strange. It used an unseen, playful demeanor to prance towards the two of them. This mindless dragon interface is really ellipsis. Truck Ryu nervously shouted, stop, don't come here. This caught Nakgon's attention towards Truck Ryu. While the dragon's appearance was majestic, it had the fragile soul of a young girl easily hurt. Just being scolded a little made it cry, twisting and turning before finally disappearing. Truck Ryu was frozen stiff like being sprayed with glue. After all, are you a dragon or a dog? Meanwhile, the master had been staring at Truck Ryu, then surprisingly uttered a name, Nak Vong. Truck Ryu angrily shouted, what Vong? What are you talking about? Nakgon then hugged his disciple, gently comforting. It's good that you've returned. The small house once again echoed with Truck Ryu's laughter and chatter. How did Master discover it? The Master kindly explained that dragon was the embodiment of the lightning element. Only you could attract lightning elements like that. Remembering the past, Nakgon then exclaimed, what does stop mean? She just smiled without answering. Seeing his disciple like this, the Master suddenly softened his voice. Why didn't you tell your master earlier? Truck Ryu stammered, disciple. Before she could finish, the master showed signs of sulking. It's your master's fault. I couldn't protect you, so you didn't trust your master. She quickly explained it's not that the disciple couldn't say it. Truck Ryu suddenly realized, oh, why can I speak now? Not Gone calmly replied, your cultivation has recovered after enduring that heavenly thunder. It contained the lightning spirit force you needed, so it helped restore your cultivation. Seeing his disciple still showing doubt, but master, I clearly changed to a new body. So why do I still have cultivation? The master shook his head. Your master doesn't know either. But, Nak Fuang, whether you believe it or not, your master will use all his strength to protect you and keep you safe. Her eyes suddenly welled up with emotion. Master. Something in her chest was changing, causing Truck Ryu to cry out, why is this happening? Disciple feels very uncomfortable. Not Gone hurriedly reassured her. That's the spiritual energy brought by heavenly thunder. Now, your body is too weak, so it cannot absorb such an enormous amount of spiritual energy. So she sat quietly, trying to follow her master's instructions. Mobilize the spiritual energy. Let it move through your meridians. Truck Ryu gradually felt the spiritual energy reaching every cell in her body. Her legs began to grow longer, startling her. What's happening? Trying to control it once more, she unexpectedly returned to her normal shape. That's great. Directing spiritual energy to a spot makes it grow. Not Gone quickly reminded her not to play around anymore. Spread the spiritual energy throughout your body. Her current beautiful form made Truck Ryu extremely satisfied. Not bad. What needs to be perky is perky. What needs to be curved is curved. Indeed, no matter which body I inhabit, I'm still as excellent as ever. A month later, while taking a walk, she pondered. Although Master always warns me that if I run out of spiritual energy, I'll turn back into a child, telling me not to go down the mountain carelessly. But just now I sense the kid's aura. Could he be doing something foolish again? I should go check to be sure. She suddenly heard 3 other disciples discussing. That's right, Master Chu truly lives up to being the Venerable One's personal disciple. His power is terrifying. The battle just now was spectacular. In my opinion, the opponent was too weak. Couldn't withstand a single move from our senior. That's right, Senior only used one move and won. I heard Senior has even comprehended sword intent. Senior has only just formed his core. Truck Ryu was a bit curious about what that self-proclaimed jerk was up to. One of them suddenly exclaimed, Senior Chu Giant is coming this way. Contrary to their welcoming attitude, Truck Ryu was visibly annoyed. As expected of Chu Giant, I still can't stand him. On his face appeared a huge PUB sign, which made her very puzzled. Huh, what does that PUB mean? And that yellow exclamation mark warning too. While the people standing nearby, with sparkling eyes, said Senior Chu is so powerful. As Truck Ryu snatched a handkerchief, her fellow disciple exclaimed in shock. What are you doing? She quickly ran to Tu Giant, vigorously wiping his face while saying loudly, I'm wiping, I'm wiping. Everyone immediately tried to stop her. Who are you? Stop at once, Master Tu. He hastily responded, thank you, little junior sister. I'm not tired, so there's no need to wipe anymore. Feeling confused, she muttered, why can't I wipe it off? Tu Giant, facing the beauty, couldn't help but feel delighted. So beautiful. He immediately inquired, how should I address little junior sister? Truck Ryu thought to herself, he's flirting with me. But as a technical staff member, I just want to delete him right away. Even though he kept earnestly flirting junior sister, she remained indifferent, focusing on her thoughts. I wonder if I can make the exclamation mark even bigger than his head. She touched it, and a notification immediately appeared. The past and present lives of Pub Tu Giant. Tu Giant was originally a street child. He was abandoned by his family due to famine. Like other beggar children, he resorted to any means of stealing and thieving just to survive. At the same time, he was despised by everyone. Until at the age of 5, he joined the Cowco sect. He originally thought that from now on he would have a peaceful life. But because he offended the inner disciple True Tu Ban, his cultivation was crippled and he was expelled from the inner sect. He was punished to guard the SOC Nguyen Pavilion, where the Cowco sect's discarded refining materials were stored. Unfortunately, Tu Giant was injured. Due to a careless accident, he was wounded. His blood dripped onto a piece of discarded material. Thus, Tu Jiat discovered that it was the world's metal spirit. Whoever obtains the metal spirit will possess all the metal spirit energy in the world. And he had the metal spirit root. Thanks to the metal spirit, he suddenly became the main character. His cultivation progressed rapidly. He concealed his cultivation level, participated in the set competition, and won first place. Not only that, he was also accepted by Fuang Daiktan Jia as a personal disciple. With a famous master's guidance, his cultivation progressed at an incredible speed, like using cheats. It kept increasing rapidly. Although there were many fools who came to cause trouble with him, they were all defeated by him. Later, he even established a massive harem. Finally, he collected the 5 elements: metal, wood, water, fire, and earth, successfully helping the ladies in his harem ascend to the immortal realm. Because of the lack of the 5 elements, the spiritual energy in the world continuously drifted away, unable to gather. The land lost its vitality. Plants couldn't grow, and famine spread everywhere. Thousands of years later, no living creatures remained in the lower realm. From then on, the apocalypse arrived. Suddenly, Truck Ju hazily woke up. Was this a dream? Did I dream about Tu Jiat? Why is that? Then she woke up fully and looked at the computer screen in front of her. She sat up straight. How is this possible? Am I back? She frowned. That dream just now was so strange. As she was thinking, suddenly a notification sound rang out. Seeing this, she clicked on it. A message appeared. You care a lot about your game world, don't you? Truck Ju tensed up. This is the scene before I transmigrated. The sound of keyboard clicking rang out continuously. Truck Ju replied to the message. Thank you. We have fixed the error you mentioned. You've helped me again. Immediately, the other side replied. It's nothing, I just pointed out the issue. You're the one who came up with the solution. She said again, I still have to thank you. After all, I've put a lot of effort into this game. I personally established the worldview for this game. If it has any issues, I would be very heartbroken. The other side asked, you care a lot about this world, don't you? She replied, of course, it's my passion project. The person said, I also have a world. It has some issues. She then asked, what kind of game is it? Is there anything I can help with? The person said, you're willing to help me. She replied, of course. It's give and take, and at least I'm tech savvy, so fixing 1 or 2 errors is simple. He then agreed. Truck Ryu asked directly about the issue. What game is it after all? What problem has occurred? He sent another message. My problem is that the message suddenly became blurry before I could finish reading it. Right after that, she recalled the time she traveled to ancient times, sitting on a chair with her mother behind her. Back to reality, Truck Ryu suddenly realized she remembered everything. The person on the screen messaged again. Are you willing to help me? She was still hesitant, but suddenly her fingers started typing on the keyboard. She was surprised. Why couldn't she control her own hand? She looked at the words she was typing on the screen identical to earlier and was extremely shocked. Why was she typing it again? Wait, could it be? Suddenly, the screen emitted a strong beam of light. She immediately covered her eyes. After opening them, she had traveled to ancient times. She sat up, breathing heavily. Indeed, she had returned. Truck Ryu wondered if this meant she had agreed to fix the bug for Gyoi Lin, which is why she time-traveled. So she needs to fix this Tu Jiat bug. Her dream, just now, was what Tu Jiat would do in the future. She suddenly felt tense. His hack is so powerful, how can she win? Tran Nakan appeared and asked her, what are you mumbling about again? She turned to look at him. Why is Master here? No, wait, I was at the foot of the mountain, why am I back? He calmly sat down on the chair and then said, I felt the divine sense I placed on you was disturbed, so I came and found you unconscious. That's why I brought you back. She sat cross-legged, so that's what happened. Then she asked her master, will the Tuk Van Hai secret realm open in 15 days? He asked in return, how do you know about the Tuk Van Hai secret realm? She didn't answer immediately, thinking to herself, because in my dream, I saw Tu Dat find the wood spirit in this secret realm, so he successfully formed his core. Suddenly, Truck Ryu turned to him and said, Master, please forgive your disciple, for I cannot tell you about this matter. But I must go to that secret realm. She thought it's best not to tell her master about the dream she just had. Nakan immediately refused, no, you haven't formed your core yet, so you're not qualified to enter. Moreover, that place is too dangerous. Even if you had formed your core, you still wouldn't have the ability to protect yourself. But she was determined to go. I must go. I will form my core within 15 days. I have my own reasons. It's just that now I can't tell others about it. Please, Master, grant me this wish. He briefly answered her while thinking to himself. Very rarely does Nak Vong seriously ask me for something like this. The last time she asked me was to request a defensive magical item for that little brat. I refused, so Nak Vong left and never returned. If I refuse again this time, will she leave and not come back? Then he suddenly moved closer to her. A small light appeared in his hand as he said, "Follow me." Hearing this, she became extremely excited and smiled brightly yes. Truck Ryu followed her master down a few steps. He walked while holding up the small lightning in his hand to light the way. Her inner voice screamed, "It's too dark." Out of fear, she kept lagging behind, clinging to his sleeve, glancing at her trembling hand, gripping his sleeve. He suddenly stopped and then raised the lightning higher. Immediately, it transformed and grew larger, illuminating the entire area. Then he said, "This is where your master cultivates. You can practice here until you form your core." Truck Ryu was surprised as she looked around. She silently marveled to herself. I never thought there would be such a large space at the bottom of the lake. Notgon waved his hand, and 3 lightning bolts flew up. He then explained to her, "This is the 9 heavenly thunders. You can absorb the thunder essence from it to cultivate." She excitedly asked him, "Isn't the 9 heavenly thunders the ascension tribulation?" As expected of Master, even such heavenly thunder can be captured. Then he said to her, "Your master will go out now. You should focus on cultivating. When you're ready to form your core, I will return to get you." Truck Ryu immediately obeyed. "Master, please rest assured." 7 years later, Truck Ryu was still diligently cultivating. She furrowed her brow in thought, just one final step. She didn't know when Notgon had arrived. At this moment, he was quietly observing her. She was striving for the final step. For the first time, I've seen Thunder Essence be so obedient. Finally, she was ready to form her core. Right after that, the core was formed. Truck Ryu excitedly opened her eyes. "I've succeeded." She quickly ran to show off to him. "Master, your disciple has formed her core. Does Master have any reward?" He actually seemed to be about to take something out. "Indeed, a reward is in order." Saying that, he placed a bottle in her hand. She looked at it with wide eyes. She poured some into her hand to check and thought, "If Master is rewarding me, it must be a treasure." But perhaps she was thinking too much, because in her hand now were only candies. She forced a smile and asked him, "Are these candies?" Notgon even smiled and said to her, "I heard children really like eating candy." Indeed, Notvong likes them very much. Hearing this, she was speechless. Then he returned to the main topic. "After successfully forming your core, there will be a great thunder tribulation. Your master has set up defensive formations for you. The power of this thunder tribulation is very strong. You must be extremely careful." Truck Ryu obediently replied yes. As soon as she finished speaking, the thunder tribulation hastily arrived. He frowned and said, "It's here." However, they only saw plump, white clouds. Not only that, it even kissed Truck Ryu on the cheek. The two looked at it in astonishment. Right after that, she pointed at it and shouted, "Choo-choo, you monkey. You're Keep Van, aren't you? Can't you be a little more professional? Where's your dignity?" The quiet atmosphere was shattered. The echoing shout startled even the birds perched on the branches. Truck Ryu fell face first onto the ground for the 3,569th time. Notgon, appearing calm and cold, said continue. She lamented inwardly. "To prevent Tujayat from obtaining the Mach Lin, I've been training hard for the past 3 years. Then I discovered that the best training method is to be constantly beaten." As soon as she finished speaking, she received a palm strike from him. She gasped for the 3,570th time. Notgon looked at her lying flat on the ground, seemingly unable to get up anymore. He reached out his hand and said, "No more training today." She raised her head in surprise. We used to train until it was pitch dark." He helped her up and brushed off the grass on her head. "Do you still want to go to Tukvan Kai?" She nodded. This disciple must go. Truck Ryu was determined in her heart. Although she dared not say she would save the world, but since she had come to this world, she would try her best to do what she could. Notgon looked at her pensively and sighed. "The secret realm will open tomorrow. You must prepare early." He then handed her a sword. Take this. She accepted it. This is my disciple's sword. But what about this sword belt and this bell? Seeing her hesitation, he continued, this sword belt contains my imprint. It can block one full force attack from Nguyen on stage cultivator. As for this bell, it has a sealed 9 heavens thunder inside. Just channel spiritual energy into it, and it will attach to the sword blade. Each sword swing will be equivalent to 1 lightning technique. Truck Ju hugged the sword to her chest, her eyes sparkling. Master is so kind. With this, even if I encounter high-level demon beasts, I won't have to be afraid. He patted her head. Such a silly disciple, but still likes to go to dangerous places like Lon Chuck and almost lost her life there. That won't do. I must give my disciple more protection. Thinking this, he started rummaging through his things. She stood by, feeling puzzled. Master. He brought out several items, saying, these are top-grade defensive magical treasures. Choose one. In her eyes, those treasures seemed to have very expensive written all over them. Come here and steal them. They're so dazzling. Master, I'm going to steal things, not to be robbed. He asked in confusion, steal things. She covered her face. Oh no, I misspoke. Truck Ju coughed twice to cover it up. Master, I really don't need them. Not Gone brought out something else? Then forget it, but you must take this with you. She smiled outwardly, but thought to herself, is Master going to bring out another treasure to dazzle me? Not Gone didn't hesitate any longer. Taking advantage while you weren't paying attention, I put the jade pendant necklace on you. Remember to always wear it. Don't lose it. Understood? Truck Ju quickly tucked it into her clothes. Don't worry, Master. The jade is safe as long as I'm alive. He blushed and fell silent when he saw where she hid the necklace, then suddenly turned away. She didn't understand what happened. Master is so strange. Never mind, I need to restore my mana to fight well. Time to sleep. The next day, she packed up and left. Master promised to meet again. He watched her figure fade into the distance, his heart filled with complex thoughts. Ah, Zhu Truck Ju exclaimed in surprise as soon as she arrived. A group of girls surrounded someone, constantly calling out Tu Shirshu. The protagonist indeed has a different aura. A bunch of beauties following him. Suddenly someone came and tapped her shoulder, Little Bun. She turned around, surprised to the point of stammering. Little Wang Shixiang. How did Shixiang recognize me? She questioned herself. The last time I met the kid, I was still in my 1-year-old form. Wang Ziji answered. Last time when you fainted next to Chu Shirshu, I was there too. Then I saw Tai Shirshu rushing over. I was curious and asked, then found out you also wanted to go to Tukvankai. That place is very dangerous. If you go in, I'm afraid. Seeing him hesitate, she waved her hand. Don't worry, my master agreed too. Seeing that, he didn't object anymore. Then remember to stay with me later, understand? She raised her hand, jumping up and down. Roger, that got it. Wang Shixiao. Looking at her, he remembered Truck Diu Jiejie's appearance. Indeed, the obsession runs too deep. Ziji patted her head. Don't be reckless. Tukvankai is in the northern desert of the cultivation world. Because of the scattered spiritual energy, cliffs are everywhere. Even immortals rarely come here. But every 500 years, a secret realm opens here. The spiritual energy inside is very dense. Spirit herbs are everywhere. However, great opportunities come with great dangers. But every time the secret realm opens, all sects send their elite disciples to seek opportunities. This journey is very dangerous. If you encounter misfortune, don't be reckless. The entrance will close after 1 month, so you need to get out before that time. Everyone responded with a yes. The sect leader of Ku Ko Phi shouted, "Depart." Ziji instructed her, "Follow me." She nodded. The place hiding the jade pendant suddenly glowed. They arrived at a vast, walled area. She asked Wang Shixiao, "Who are we going with?" He coldly replied, "Master instructed me to go with Chu Shirshu's team." She thought to herself, I was worried about not finding the ancient ruins that Tu Dat saw in his dream. This way I can legitimately follow him. She saw a young man teasing a girl. "Six Shimmy, can I go with you?" That was True Chu Ban, who grew up to be quite kind-hearted. The girl next to him was Six Saturday. Six Sat replied with disgust, "True Shixiao, I've already made it clear to you. I only see you as an elder brother. Please don't bother me anymore." Xiao Ban was unwilling, but Hong Chu immortal. 6 kills interrupted him. The master only intended for us to become Dao companions. But the master cares for me deeply. If I don't want to, the master won't force me. It's fine if Xiao Ban is stubborn. Let me go with you. I will protect you. A voice interrupted him. You'd better protect yourself. 6 kills. Junior sister is a member of our team, so I will protect her. They both turned around. The newcomer was Uncle Xiao. Xiao Ban was displeased. Uncle Xiao, I can protect myself well. Xiao Ban continued, I beg you, uncle, let me go with you. Before he finished, Xiao Jie cut in, fine. Our team can still take a few extra people. You can come with me. She silently observed. When they were young, Xiao Jie was often bullied by Zhao Xiaoban. But now it's the opposite. It seems Zhao Xiaoban likes 6 kills, which is interesting. The team leader spoke, everyone's here. Let's depart. She observed Xiao Jie. In the dream, Xiao Jie found the wood spirit when he was alone. That means only when he's alone will the wood spirit appear. So she must stick close to him. Her action of not leaving his side made the girls around him uncomfortable. As a responsible technician, I really want to slap a quick patch on his face. The team leader said, there will be a lot of celestial green grass nearby. Everyone split up and search. Return here in 1 hour. Bamboo, Du wondered what celestial green grass was. Purple Branch gently explained, it's a type of grass used to brew aloe vera. It's also found outside the secret realm, but it's rare, so the price is quite high. She widened her eyes, wow, I want some too. Purple Branch pointed to the right. Let's go over there and look. She excitedly replied, okay. She carefully observed the grass, which all looked the same. So which one is the celestial green grass? Before she finished, someone stopped her, saying, stop. Bamboo, Du hurriedly pulled back her foot. She almost stepped on them. Purple Branch was delighted to see it and exclaimed, here it is. He put the spirit grass into a bag and said, spirit grass must be stored in this. Otherwise, even if you take it out, the spiritual energy will be lost. She replied, I know, but thought to herself, is it necessary to show off like this? He asked suspiciously, little Bowsy, this is basic entry-level knowledge. Didn't your master teach you? Bamboo, Du wasn't listening to him. She pointed, senior brother, look over there. Purple Branch sighed helplessly. When senior brother is teaching, you should. Before he finished, she exclaimed, earth leaf grass. Purple Branch was excited. This is an herb used to refine foundation building pills. She thought earth leaf grass sounded familiar. It seemed that Heavy Lolita had mentioned it. That Heavy Lolita was the junior sister of the sect leader. She remembered her holding her as a baby and saying, be good. Even if you have a mixed elemental spirit root, I will find the heavenly vein lotus to help purify it into a top-grade spirit root. Anyway, the heavenly vein lotus is usually next to the transparent leaf grass. It can be considered a contribution to the sect, so it can't be seen as me being selfish. Her exclamation means there might be heavenly vein lotus nearby. Wang Ziji replied, it's true that heavenly vein lotus is near transparent leaf grass, but not every place with transparent leaf grass will have heavenly vein lotus. Just as he finished speaking, a figure suddenly appeared. It made a very loud sound. Both of them turned to look at once, wondering what happened. Looking closely, it was Lu Sha. Behind her was a beast. Zhu Riao immediately flew on his sword and said, come up quickly. They're coming to find everyone. The beast behind kept growling. Its footsteps rumbled as if shaking the entire ground. What the hell is this, Senior Xiao? Both were very panicked. At this moment, Senior Xiao flew over. The three quickly flew away in front of the others. Lu Sha had also recognized him. Senior Du, when they saw the group below, all three quickly landed. One of them asked Senior Xiao, what happened? Lu Sha replied, we and Senior Xiao discovered a lot of transparent leaf grass over there. But for some reason, this beast suddenly charged at us. We couldn't defeat it, so we had to come back to inform everyone. That person continued to ask, then where is Senior Xiao? At this moment, the huge beast had caught up. Its roar echoed throughout the forest. To their surprise, from the mouth of that monster fell 2 human corpses. It was Senior Xiao and Zhao Xiaoban. Both quickly ran to catch the two. Senior Xiao, are you all right? Lu Sha's eyes focused on the monster. It began to spit out a huge fireball towards them. It's a Ling fire beast. Everyone, get out of the way. Everyone managed to fly up on their swords in time. That fire had burned down an entire area. Zhu Riao worried, this beast is really powerful. The monster still stood towering in front of them. At this moment, they decided to counterattack by freezing it. In just a moment, it was completely submerged in bone-chilling cold. Suddenly, the ice block cracked. It used its firepower to easily escape from the ice block. Everyone was terrified. Unexpectedly, this mutated Ling fire beast is not afraid of water or fire. Don't use water or fire magic to attack it. Zhu Riao began to unleash a different power. Behind her flew out some long, unidentified objects. Those tentacles tightly bound the limbs of that beast. All its movements were restrained. Seeing that the situation had progressed, everyone immediately planned to seize this opportunity. All of them simultaneously cast their strongest spells. The beast howled in pain. Perhaps those spells had taken effect on it. The body of the beast was covered in wounds. Truck Ju turned to the sixth junior sister and said, "Sixth sister, quickly provide support." Yes. Due to lack of attention, she used ice magic on it again. Truck Ju beside her shouted, "Don't use ice." When the ice shards hit the beast, its strength seemed to return. It broke free from those tentacles and returned to its aggressive state. From behind, the monster was right next to Sixth Sister, intending to eat her. It opened its mouth wide, preparing to bite her body. Suddenly, Xiaoban ran over and pushed her away from those sharp iron teeth. Sixth Sister was out of danger, but instead, he was bitten on the shoulder. Truck Ju, supporting Sixth Sister, also witnessed this. She screamed, "True Xiaoban." The beast left that bite mark, then disappeared in an instant. It's gone. Out of frustration, Truck Ju turned to blame Sixth Sister. "Do you have eyes or not? I told you not to use water or fire magic." Sixth Sister, in tears, defended herself. "I used ice magic." Truck Ju replied, "Ice is also water. Your ice made it use fire. Are you trying to sabotage us?" Xiaoban's body lay sprawled on the ground. Blood had spread all over his body. Truck Ju instructed those around, "Prepare defensive barriers. This fire beast can also use invisibility." She and Xiao Shukshu then stood back to back. Xiao Shukshu said to her, "Little Baozi, be careful." In an instant, the beast stood looming in front of both of them. What it paid attention to was the strap on the arm holding Xiao Shukshu's sword. Its master's sword strap. Once again, it disappeared. It's gone again. This will be very disadvantageous for us. We need to force it to appear. At this moment, Truck Ju came up with an idea. "I'll use lightning to force it out. When it appears, everyone attack at once." She stuck her sword into the ground. Electricity began to appear on her sword blade. The beast was struck by the electric current, smoking. It revealed itself after taking that hit. It's appeared. Everyone aimed straight at the beast's direction. Truck Ju sighed in relief. No problem now. Suddenly, it let out a roar, deflecting all the magic spells. Everyone was affected by its roar. All were coughing violently, adding to the confusion. Confusion. What do we do now? It's forcibly advancing to the next level. It wants to perish together with us. Its ferocious roar had become immune to the surrounding flames. Truck Ju was very hesitant at this moment. "I'm not a saint. I have no interest in sacrificing myself for others. Moreover, whether the beast levels up or not, everyone here will die anyway, including Xiao Jiat. If he dies, the mission will be completed." She slowly began to crouch down, still pondering in her heart. But her subsequent action surprised everyone. She walked straight towards that monster. "Just because of a software error that I'm not sure about. Abandoning everyone, I don't feel comfortable with that at all." Uncle Chu held her hand, stopping her, and asked worriedly, "Little Baozi, what are you trying to do? You'll die." Zhu Ryu put her hand on Tu Chi's head to reassure him. "It's all right, just wait and see, kid." As she spoke, she gave him a gentle smile. It seemed like he had realized something. Before she could finish her words, she was knocked unconscious by Zhu Ryu. She entrusted him to the other two to protect him. She turned around and left alone to fight the monster. With a sword full of lightning, Zhu Ryu charged straight towards the monster. Her sword cut through the flames. Deep in her heart, kindness was evident. "If I die, I might be reborn, but for others." Thanks to her determination, along with the image of Tu Chi's radiant smile, the power within her surged even more. "Kid, I won't let you die." Even so, but the overwhelming power of the monster was still very dangerous. The flames had engulfed Zhu Ryu's entire body. Everyone below was very worried about her life. Indeed, it was still. A sparkling light appeared in the sky. The thunder god bird appeared with lightning bolts. The bird spread its wings. To everyone's surprise, that's her sword intent. She's enlightened. The sword intent rushed towards that monster at an astonishing speed. A battle between the Fire King Beast and the Thunder God Bird was about to unfold. Zhu Ryu used the power of the Thunder God to strike multiple blows on the monster. The smooth sword strokes easily cut its body into many pieces. Having used such enormous enormous energy. Her body had begun to show signs of weakening. She fell to the ground, almost perishing. Uncle Tu and his disciple rushed over. "Can you still hold on, little Baozi?" Zhu Ryu, startled by this, retorted, "Baozi my ass." Then he started treating her wounds. Meanwhile, he turned to ask Uncle Tu about what happened earlier. "Uncle Tu, what happened earlier? Why did that monster risk its life like that?" He began to explain. "We discovered the transparent leaf grass. When we entered, we woke up that monster. We don't know why it was so determined to chase us. Did we really not discover anything else?" He questioned. "Nothing at all." At this moment, Zhu Ryu glanced at him. She had begun to suspect something. He must have obtained the heavenly pulse lotus. Otherwise, that monster wouldn't have fought us to the death. It seems he's determined not to take it out. Tu Jie turned to look at the corpses that had been sacrificed in the recent battle. "The secret realm is dangerously severe. Unexpectedly, we encountered such a powerful monster right upon entering." Truck Du breathed a sigh of relief. "That's right. Luckily, there was only one. If there was another one," a familiar cry rang out. Another beast of the same kind appeared in front of all three of them. Truck Du was stunned. "What the hell is this? Buy one, get one free." She began ordering everyone to run away. "Dung Nguyen, then, you lead Vong Tu Chi to the exit of Tu Jiat 6 Saturday. You go left, I'll go right. We'll split up and run in 3 directions." After saying that, all three quickly dispersed. While running, she thought to herself, "The exit is nearby, so Dung Nguyen then might be able to escape Luke Sot, and the others aren't badly injured, so they have enough strength to run. As for me, I'm alone and a small target, so that beast won't chase after me." She smugly looked back. Unexpectedly, she was the chosen one. The beast opened its mouth wide, ready to swallow her whole. She panicked tremendously. "It's over. Why is it only chasing after me? Is it bullying me because I don't have a boyfriend?" Truck Ju's legs trembled as she stood on the sword. "This isn't good. I've used up too much spiritual energy," she said, then jumped off the sword, spinning gracefully towards the beast's mouth. She grabbed the sword, ready to give up. 2 sharp slashes forming an X were swung right at the beast's face. That slash was executed by a blue-haired person. That person caught Truck Du's body. In her daze, she observed and recognized her savior as her master. Truck Du was lying on a rock when she suddenly woke up. She rubbed her forehead and then exclaimed in surprise, "Why are my wounds healed already?" Suddenly, a white tiger poked its head in from outside. She cried out in fear, a level 8 beast. However, the tiger also cried out in fear and then hid in the bushes cautiously. She stared at it bewilderedly and thought, could it be that the higher level beasts are actually more timid? She then looked around and suddenly saw something with thunder's spiritual energy here. Could it be Master? As soon as she finished speaking, she suddenly heard his voice. Startled, she turned around and asked Master, "Where are you?" He calmly said 2 words, "Look down." After she followed his instruction, she looked down and saw a tiny version of Nakgon. She exclaimed in surprise, "Why has Master become like this?" He replied, "Cultivators above the Golden Core stage cannot enter Tuk Van Kai, so I had to put a part of my primordial spirit into this jade pendant. If I kept my original form, I would be detected by the formation, so I can only appear in this form." Truck Du secretly praised him, thinking he was small and cute, truly adorable. Then she asked, "So why did Master come here?" He answered, "This Master didn't teach you to fight beasts by risking your life." She looked dejected. The Master saw that his disciple was speechless, so he continued, "If I hadn't shown up in time, I'm afraid you would have lost your life. In the future, if you face danger, your life is still the most important thing. Don't make me worry. Do you understand?" Truck Ryu smiled with her eyes. This disciple understands. "Thank you, Master." Nakgon continued to scold her for being careless. "In the future, think carefully before you act. Don't fight when your golden core hasn't recovered." She happily responded to each of his sentences. "Yes, Your Majesty," making him embarrassed. He shouted, "Shut up. When you recover, we'll continue training." Hearing this, she immediately went silent. A few days later, Truck Ryu fought with demon beasts. In the first battle, she was still scared and ran away. By the second time, she defeated it as easily as eating candy. In the third battle, she even scared a group of demon beasts, making them run away in fear. Finally, she emerged victorious. She said proudly, "Master, even if you want to train your disciples' abilities, you don't need to choose a place where demon beasts gather like this." Nakgon calmly replied, "If you had trained earlier, you wouldn't have been so severely injured by that demon beast." Truck Ryu sighed helplessly Don't bring up the past anymore. He spoke again. All right, I've set up a concealment formation for you. Take your time to regulate your breath. A formation immediately appeared under her feet. Then she asked him, but master, that day when I fought with that demon beast, why did I suddenly summon the phoenix sword intent? I've never seen it before. He answered her, after comprehending sword intent, whatever your mind thinks of, the sword intent will take that form. At that moment, you must have wanted to escape from that demon beast. So your sword intent became a phoenix, reborn from the flames. Hearing his explanation, she was stunned, so that's how it is. Then what is Master's sword intent? He didn't hide it from her and answered dragon. Truck Ryu happily clapped her hands upon hearing this. Master's sword intent is a dragon, and Disciples is a phoenix. A dragon and a phoenix, a perfect match. This statement made him feel embarrassed. However, he just coughed once and said, take off your clothes. She defensively covered her body. Master, that's not appropriate. Suddenly, he flew over and lifted her wrist to change her clothes. She was surprised, a storage bracelet. Then she became engrossed in admiring the items inside, so beautiful. After that, she hurriedly took off her outer garment. This disciple has wanted to change these tattered clothes for a long time. Not-Gon's eyes widened. Then he turned away. He thought to himself, could it be that it's too hot? Truck Ryu had changed into new clothes. She smiled happily. There are so many interesting things in this storage bracelet. While admiring them, she suddenly saw something and held it up high, asking, Master, what is this? Unexpectedly, he casually replied, sanitary napkin. She was immediately speechless, her cheeks turning as red as tomatoes. Truck Ryu excitedly said to Not-Gon, Master, the Chishi festival is coming soon. He was focused on his book but still replied, do you want to eat mooncakes? Hearing this, she angrily slammed the table. We don't eat mooncakes on Chishi, we eat. Suddenly feeling more irritated, she corrected herself, who said I want to eat. He spoke again. So you want to go see the dragon boat race? She protested in frustration. Dragon boat racing is a dragon boat festival custom. Why is Master's knowledge of festivals so poor? Finally, he put down his book and looked at her directly, saying, if it's not related to cultivation, why remember it? Tell me, where do you want to go play this time? She had been waiting for this and immediately replied, I heard there's a lantern release activity at the foot of the mountain, so I want to go with Master. However, he opened his book again and only stood up after a while. All right, let's go. Truck Ryu stared wide-eyed at his flushed cheeks. Why is Master's face so red? He casually explained it was hot in summer. But the real reason was what was behind his back. The book wrote, why release lanterns on Chishi night? On Chishi, write the name of your loved one on a lantern. Pray sincerely, then release the lantern into the sky. This will make the couple's love eternal. Upon arrival, Truck Ryu suggested, Master, I want to write our names on the lantern and draw our pictures too. Oh, and the little ones as well. You must want to see it too. He agreed to everything she said, except for the last request, which was not allowed. Truck Ryu threw a stone into the lake. Disappointed, she complained, serves you right for talking too much. Suddenly, she heard a singing voice from somewhere. The voice was very gentle. She suddenly remembered Not-Gon's words. That's the voice of a mermaid. It can enchant people's hearts. Don't let it bewitch you. Thinking of this familiar voice, she was about to call her master, but still angry, she turned away. She glanced at the three mermaids in front of her and thought, mermaids. Then she got excited. Mermaids are the legendary beautiful fishwomen. Their backs look so graceful. Their faces must be. Before she could finish her thought, she was disappointed when they turned around. She was horrified and silently screamed, are these mermaids or wide-mouthed women? Suddenly, the pink mermaid aggressively approached her. She panicked, wondering why they were coming towards her. She was about to become fish food. Truck Ryu fearfully raised her hands to shield her face. The mermaid came closer, sniffed a bit, then stopped and asked, which clan do you belong to? She stared at him blankly. He repeated the question, I'm asking you. Which mermaid clan are you from? Truck Ryu hesitated. I'm just passing by. She thought to herself, it seems he mistook her for one of their kind. He put his hands on his hips and said to her, just passing by. I've never heard of this clan before. This area belongs to our clan. If you want to hunt, go somewhere else. The other two mermaids had also arrived at some point. They all nodded in agreement. Seeing this, she thought to herself that she would use this to her advantage. Then she laughed it off, saying she was lost. The pink-haired merfolk said, you got lost just like that. Are all your people this stupid? Truck Ryu cursed silently. You're the stupid one. Your whole family is stupid. But then he puffed out his chest and offered, all right, since we're the same race, I'll take you back. She quickly refused, saying it wasn't necessary. However, he still approached, put his arm around her shoulder, and said with a smile, "I'm very familiar with this place. No need to be polite. You're so stupid. You wouldn't find your way back even in 3 days." She still tried to refuse, saying, "It's really not necessary." But this merfolk was very enthusiastic. "I said I'll take you back. So where do you live?" Suddenly, a bold idea popped into her head. If he was going to be this eager, maybe she could have him take her to that ancient relic. Truck Ryu quickly made up a story. "I don't know what you call that place. I only know it's an ancient palace. There's a barrier outside." The merfolk frowned. "Why do you live in such a weird place?" "I heard it's near the land of no return. Getting caught in it will destroy your soul." She scratched her head. "I'm used to it." Then the merfolk said cheerfully, "I'm in a good mood today, so I'll take you there. But I'll only take you close to it. I don't want to get near the land of no return." Truck Ryu pretended to smile and replied, "Thank you. How do we get there?" As soon as she finished speaking, he immediately pulled her down. "Of course we swim there. Let's go." They both sank into the water. He held her hand and said, "We merfolk are most comfortable in the water." Truck Ryu quickly used a water-repelling technique. Then she felt at ease and thought, "I almost drowned." The merfolk asked her, "Why do you like the ugly appearance of humans? If you didn't have TUSA, I wouldn't acknowledge you as one of us." Hearing this, she frowned and thought, "TUSA, I only brought a few clothes with me." And then she thought about sanitary pads. She realized with a start, indeed, sanitary pads save the world. He laughed and said, "What merfolk doesn't like a strong and beautiful fishtail? Looking like that, you'll never get a wife." She was surprised, pointed at herself, and thought, not only did he mistake my race, but he also mistook my gender. Then she said, "I'm female, so I don't need to get a wife." The merfolk looked at her chest in shock. She thought dejectedly, "What's there to be so shocked about? My buns are just wrapped up too tightly." Suddenly, the merfolk jumped, his face turning red. She looked at him in confusion, wondering why he suddenly turned as red as a boiled fish. He covered his mouth and said, "How annoying. Why didn't you say so earlier?" She stared blankly, her eyes wide open. "I think Master said that female merfolk are very rare. Perhaps this guy has never met a woman before, but it shouldn't be to the point of changing from a domineering CEO to a shy wife." He covered his face in embarrassment and said, "I just held the dragon girl's hand. It's so embarrassing." Truck Jew smiled awkwardly and asked him if it was still far. He shyly pointed his finger forward. She replied, "Thank you, I can swim across by myself." As she was about to leave, he suddenly stopped her, saying, "Wait." She then asked, "What's the matter?" He smiled and said, "My name is Fishley. Would you like to be my companion?" Suddenly, a strong beam of light appeared, shining directly on him. Fishley immediately turned into a tiny fish. She looked at him in astonishment, then glanced down at her necklace. Suddenly, Notgon appeared out of nowhere, with a face as black as the bottom of a pot. She surprisingly called out, "Master, let's go." Notgon's stern voice made Truck Jew break out in a cold sweat. She worriedly thought, why is Master so angry? It's terrifying. He urged again, "Hurry up, don't dawdle anymore." She could only reply yes. The two of them had arrived. Looking at the mansion below, she marveled, thinking it was an ancient relic. It looked exactly like in her dream. Suddenly, a voice spoke up, startling her. "Junior Uncle Tew, where exactly is this place?" "This is architecture from ancient times. It must be an ancient relic." Looking at the backs of those two people, she recognized Tew Diet and Luke Saturday. Sixth Junior's sister excitedly asked, "Does that mean there will be a great opportunity here?" Tew Diet smiled and answered briefly yes. But Truck Jew behind them wondered, why is Tew Diet's pub above his head now? His image is also unstable. Could Mok Lin be nearby? Senior Brother Tew turned to her and said, "This place is too mysterious. If we weren't being chased by villains and coincidentally entered the teleportation formation, we wouldn't have been able to enter. This is truly a blessing in disguise." Truck Jew, still hiding behind a pillar, said with a hint of jealousy, "Luke Sat and Tew Diet are so lucky." But Not Gone, not knowing who those two were, asked, "Who are Luke Sat and Tew Diet?" On the other side, Luke Sat searched with a worried expression and said, "But that Senior Brother's demeanor is really. I've said that Senior Brother True Tew Ban's death has nothing to do with us. Yet they still attacked." Hearing this, Truck Jew burned with anger like a flame and exclaimed, "Nothing to do with her. Do we have to wait for her to take a knife and stab True Tew Ban to death for it to be related?" One after another. Junior Uncle, not knowing anyone, asked again, "Who is True Tew Ban?" One side was like a burning torch, while the other side was acting out a romantic scene. Chu Diet held her hand gently and said, "Sixth junior sister, don't be sad. Justice is in people's hearts. Neither of us has done anything wrong." She also replied tearfully, "But we're all fellow disciples. Why won't they believe me?" Although it's not related to me, I'm still heartbroken about Zhao Xiaoban's death. The more senior brother hears, the crazier he gets. Zhu Riao screamed inside and cried even more. "When you were born, did your parents forget to add the word whore to your name?" Xiao, he hugged her and comforted her. "Don't cry. I'm here for you. I will protect you." She asked, "Is that true, Xiaogij?" "Of course," he replied. Unable to bear this scene any longer, Zhu Riao felt like she was about to vomit. Could it be that she had transmigrated into one of those cheesy romance novels? At this moment, she decided to speak her mind. She said what she truly thought. Zhao Ziban really chose the wrong person. He doesn't deserve to die for someone like that. She was about to go investigate with them, but now she'd rather go alone. A hazy smoke swirled around. It turned out to be Yu Yin's doing. He said, "I've used my divine sense to investigate. There seems to be something deep inside this palace. You must be careful." He and Zhu Riao seemed to be lost in a maze, turning left and right with traps under their feet. She wiped her sweat, secretly admiring the protagonist. Xiao Yi's aura was no match for Master's radar. "I'm sure I'll find the wood spirit before him." They stopped in front of a huge door with a carved monster on top, like something from Greek mythology. She wondered aloud why there was a door here. "What's that on the door?" Yu Yin speculated. "This door has an ancient seal of strange beasts. Perhaps it's to protect what's inside." Hearing this, she asked, "So what should we do?" Master replied, "This formation is too complex. If we touch it, it will activate the strange beast up there. Unless we have the incantation, I need time to figure out how to break this formation." Her face fell, looking a bit disappointed. "So we can't enter." Xiao, he thought to himself, "Oh, the protagonist's aura is too powerful. We'll have to wait then." 3 hours later, she had waited until the chrysanthemums wilted. She asked wearily, "Master, haven't you figured out a solution yet?" Suddenly, footsteps were heard nearby. Master exclaimed, "Someone's coming." She quickly adjusted her clothes and sat upright in front of the door waiting. Then, pretending to be cheerful, she said, "Long time no see." It turned out to be Xiao Yi and Lu Sha. They were surprised to see her here and asked, "Why are you here?" She replied, "I was chased by a monster into a mountain cave, and I think I stepped on some kind of formation. When I woke up, I was already outside this palace. I was worried that everyone would be concerned about not finding me. I didn't expect to coincidentally meet you here." Xiao Yi said aloud, "Baozi, do you know what's behind this door?" But in his heart, he thought, "Baozi, my ass." Zhu Riao shook her head and said, "I don't know either. But there's a formation on this door that can't be opened." Lu Sha approached the door, looked at it, and said, "This door is very strange." Suddenly, Zhu Riao shouted, "Don't touch it." As soon as the sixth junior sister touched it, a beam of light emerged. Truck Ryu angrily shouted that her teammates were as dumb as pigs. Truck Ryu looked at her in anger and said, "Did you use Omo to wash your brain?" But she coyly snuggled up to Tu Dad and replied, "I didn't know it would be like this either." Suddenly, the door made a noise, catching her attention. The monster slowly poked its head out. Truck Ryu screamed in fear, "The monster's out. Run quickly." It roared out a password. She didn't understand and asked, "What password?" It roared again, making her almost wet herself, and said, "I don't know what the password is. I just said open sesame." As soon as she finished saying this, the monster immediately changed its attitude and retreated its head back inside to everyone's surprise. Truck Ryu wondered in confusion. Could the real password be open sesame? The wind blew strongly, and the door slowly began to open. She was sucked inside. Using her last bit of consciousness, she shouted, "Divine energy, protect my Dantian." After that, all three of them lost consciousness and were taken to another place. Suddenly, out of nowhere, an old man with white hair and beard appeared and said, "I've been waiting here for many years. Finally, I've waited for someone with the right destiny." At this time, Truck Ryu also regained consciousness, but was still in a daze. He spoke slowly. "After so many years, finally, someone will inherit my legacy. Let this old man choose the best quality." He looked at the sixth and said, "Fire and earth dual spirit roots. Although the quality is good, it's not suitable for my cultivation technique. Then he turned to 2 Dat with an excited attitude. Metal and wood dual spirit roots, very good. Finally, unexpectedly, it's a thunder spirit root. Indeed, this should be chosen. As soon as she heard him say this, Truck Ryu's heart was filled with excitement, thinking, he's choosing me. But at the last minute, he turned back to 2Dat and said, this child then. Unwilling to accept, she jumped up angrily and said, you said you'd choose the best spirit root. Don't be so unfair. Seeing her awake, he was quite surprised, little one. You're awake, but not caring about what he just asked. She said, you said you'd choose the best quality, but clearly my quality is much better than his. He coughed a few times before replying, little one, don't be so agitated. Although your quality is very good, but this child suits me better. So, I've decided to pass it on to him. She bluntly said, you're already dead, so what destiny do you need? I already felt something wasn't right earlier. You prefer males, don't you? Hit right in the heart. His face turned completely red, but he still tried to deny it. No, don't speak nonsense. I don't favor this little guy. But she didn't believe what the old man said and replied, you certainly do. Backed into a corner, he had to say to the little one, although this old man can't pass on the technique to you, but I see that your comprehension is very good. This old man has a few treasures. Now I will give you one of them. Hearing about treasures, her eyes lit up immediately, and she said anything would do.